Everything is pareidolia. Everything is pareidolia, okay? Everything that you see in front of you that you know what it is, it's not that because it's pareidolia. You're just crazy, okay? Don't ask questions. Don't see anything for what it is. Up is down and down is up. We live in backwards clown world. Or connect your own sovereign back to yourself and your higher self, resonate with and make your own truth, and build upon it with your loved ones and the community in your daily life. Acres Temple Step Pyramid. Oh, yeah, okay, I can see that a bit. Probably not the best angle, but there's so much. Oh yeah, see, look at, they've done some. Oh, okay, okay. This is a site that has to have the Arthur Farham Foundation geoglyphology applied to it. Oh, that's in Hawar, Egypt. Fascinating. Hawar, right? Like Hawar. Oh man, I gotta bring these back up with Luke. The Hawar aspects of it. Man, so many people have done so much epic work in connecting the dots. It's all the false layers are being exposed. Yes, they are. And when that naked emperor freezes in the Tartarian winter, nobody's gonna give him a bowl of borscht to survive on. Hey, look at that. We are on a turtle. Oh, man. All right. Okay. You see? The indigenous were right all along. Turtle Earth. That's Turtle North America right there. It's all reptilian, man. It's all reptilian. I don't know what to tell you. Gotta save every epic picture because, whoa, that was a surprise. Look at that. That's pretty similar. And I just was like, boom, Mount Yamaniska above that robot guardian thing I was talking about. That this right here is actually, oh man, I can't wait to go back and take the pictures and put them next to these pictures. And then it's like you have, well, double the examples of it. And then someone else will find, another site with the exact same again. And it just, it's getting good. Getting good. Getting pretty undeniable out there. Yeah, like, right? Oh, yeah. See, this giant big thing, it just symmetrically just landed earthquake proof, just somehow on top of the mountain, got on top of those other stones. Oh, my goodness. Star prints on the front. See, and these guys, these monoliths and stuff, like the moon and the sun, when they're on the summer solstices and equinox and full moons and all the rest, that is what it is all about. Witnessing human heel bone, and okay, and even that looks like a face within it too. The shadows, though, them shadows. Like, look at these things on top of the mountains. Just like, yes, we're on top of the mountain, and these guys, these big, they just magically hopped on top of the other. Like, how did people lie to themselves? I just don't get it. Although, I guess there's a lot of cognitive dissonance. Or if things are a simulation, or if, God just wished everything into being, then I guess it does have intelligent design implanted everywhere into it. as a natural, right? So I guess whatever your belief is, I think it was the 5 or 6 ages of humanity before then. Oh, we have a guest joining. Or do we? I'm not sure. I think it's a Todd. I don't know. They were there, now they're gone. Thank you. Come again. Sorry. That wasn't very tasteful of me. Okay. How much more of this site do? Oh wow, we're only halfway down. Cowhead or buffalo head, maybe? Oh, above the right eye of the buffalo. What? I don't know. I'm gonna have to come back and. Oh no! Look at the carving. Wow. Oh, it's just covered in moss. Look at the intricacy of that. Oh my goodness, this shit is mind blowing. Got a squared line. It's the fact that like all of the biggest, perfectest ones are on the tops of like the peaks and stuff, where it's like, yes, it just rolled on top of itself, on top of itself, on top of itself, stacked perfectly. See, like this. Oh man, it's exciting. I love it because it's more verification of everything that I've seen throughout my life that I now need to go back to those sites and do the boots on the ground in depth with. Oh wow, look at the petroglyphs on that one. And that's very, very similar to the petroglyphs on Yamaniska. Oh, and they know it's geopolymer too, right? Look at that. We're putting it together, people. So many people getting it together. We know what's going on. We know what geopolymer is. Oh, look at the freaking notch things too. It's the same polygonal peoples. And look at that black cat. That's creepy as heck. Pretty cool though. Yes, nature did that. It sure did not. But someone did. Someone did it, and someone built it. Right? And like, oh yeah, like, oh, nature just made the pathway in just the perfect minimum size for you to squeeze through and form a full cave out of, right? Yeah, no, it's just that was the water that did that. Ice, right? Just wedged its way and make it perfect. Perfect center of gravity and balance on each of these stones, like balancing too, right? Like just, yeah, that's what cracking and the wind and the erosion did. Just gave it those perfect balancing, like perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, like balancing onto each other. Oh man, like into the little points. It's ludicrous. If you've ever actually stacked stones yourself, like in the rivers and stuff, like how to actually balance them all and whatnot for where they stay and like getting that center of gravity in, like, yeah, it's done. It just takes a lot of time and practice, and certain stones won't. And like, you have to have everything so precise, or it just all flops, all gone, all at once, crumbling down. And that these have magically not all come crumbling down in tens of thousands of years. They've all stayed exactly in place since the last catastrophe that did knock half of it down and bury the other half and submerge half the world in this mud that flooded and covered, and that we obviously had to dig out of, and that the giants and the megafauna and whatnot did not dig themselves out of, as the legends go, and as now the evidence seems to show, more so and more so. This stuff gets me pumped, because there's just so many that, like, I'm gonna go back to now that I know where to. That just, when you know, you know. It's a great time. And it's also the experience of being at the place yourself. Hiking those mountains, getting to these energy nodal points, you know, because whatever they're there, someone put a lot of effort into macro terraforming and shaping and building these things, and they did it for a reason, and a lot of it it seems to be right where these energy ley line, telluric currents, and all the rest interject and have this purpose that has been hidden from us. Okay. It's like, yes, it just magically, they all just magically dropped off the glaciers in these spots, balancing, landing in perfect alignments from where the ice melted. It's like, no, they're not fractures. Like, that's not a fracture. You can't, like, these are 3 separate complete rocks. Like, that is not a fracture and a fracture. No, that is polygonal structuring. Like, there's absolutely no way to claim that this rock is the same rock as this or this. Like, it's done with intent to show you that. Like, it's freaking hilarious. These Titan giants, they had humor within them. All right, there we go. That was a pretty epic look-see at what we had there. The dude never came back. Strange. Don't even know who that was. So tried coming. What Todd did I send to? I don't know. I'm confused. Anyways, well, at least one of the 30 people. No, it wasn't 30. It was 10 different random alternative history people I sent to at random times. And, well, anywho, we're 54 minutes in. I've been talking for quite some time, and I need to get myself a water refreshment and a little smoke break, but this is not the end, my friends. Oh, thank you, Atlantis is Found, for the $5 support. Greatly appreciated, brother. And sorry I did not see that sooner. I guess, right? Just literally talking for 50 minutes. You know, when you're solo, you don't have time to pay full attention to everything. But oh, and Sue Spectacular, thank you so much for joining Crypto Alchemist members, as well as Angel Wings before the stream. Thank you both so much. Yes, I did send Shem. Oh my god, I'm only seeing that now. Yes, I did send you a link to this stream if you'd like to join. Oh, I also sent it to Elkman. Maybe it was Elkman that was trying to join. That could have been who it was. And Shem, yes, I did send you the link. All right. What did I have preloaded to play today? But this is a little bit nerdier. It's getting into alchemy and batteries and the real science, but we're going to take a portion because just the information is so big. Oh, never mind. We got Shem. We've got the Shem Jacobs joining. Look at that guy. Look at these guys. Look at them guys. How are they not gas? They're gas. That's gas. That's gas. That's Illuminati.
How are they not gas?
The gas. Oh.
That's
Hello, Mr. Tartarian. Oh, you still got
Yo,
the
what's up?
YouTube.
How are they not gas? The gas.
Oh no, we got a major glitch in the gas.
A glitch. Yeah, just give me 1 second. I gotta do something real quick.
Absolutely. All right. Okay. So then I will play for at least 5 or 10 minutes here while we get things started, and I can still have a bathroom break. The battery. It was a free energy presentation. The channel is the Free Energy Working Group. They do a monthly conference every month. I've been following them for at least 6-7 years now. Do great stuff. But yes, they released today their most recent, and this is one of the lectures within it. And let me pull it up so I make sure I say the name right. Of why do I always go back to the Pink Panther? Okay, here we go. Brooks Agnew. And Brooks Agnew is one intelligent dude that has invented many things, and especially in chemistry and batteries and electrochemistry. So we shall play a little portion.
Light for everyone? Like that? Is that what we do, Crystal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever, however you feel comfortable.
Patents, trade secrets, and proprietary knowledge in numerous industries, including chemistry, chemical engineering, subspace communications, electric vehicle technology, and architecture. He has 12 books in print with 7 are bestsellers. He's an internationally known public speaker, and he's been the host of X Squared Radio for 18 years. He has 4 grown children, 2 grandsons, 5 granddaughters, and currently resides in Charlotte, North Carolina, and travels the world teaching, consulting, and writing. Thank you so much, Brooks. How are you doing today?
Wow, I'm doing really well. You did a really good job of connecting with me. I was going 80 miles an hour down the freeway, and he said, "Brooks, I need you for 40 minutes." I said, "Are you crazy? I'm doing 80 miles an hour."
15 minutes.
Well, here we are.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time and actually answering my call, because I know we've actually been needing to call each other.
Can you hear me at least? Yeah, I'll hold down until he gets back. Who's the lip reader here? Could you please? Yeah, I'm not sure. I sent him a message to say that the sound was off, but maybe we can just chat for a second. How's everyone's day going? What's up, Joe Cool? Sherry, JJ, Drew Duncan, Ryan Everett, Max Maximus. There's Bernie to fix the sound. Something's gonna happen, Bernie.
Sorry, that was a bit loud. How are you, good sir?
Not too bad.
I liked your cave adventure. It's
Thanks.
spooky when you're at like the entrance and like they start getting dark and you're like, do I peer down there? Do I go down? I don't know.
What's up, Chris? Yeah, I was by myself and I had my dogs and one of them he wasn't really feeling it, so I was like, I can't leave him out here and I don't know what's gonna happen if I go deep in here right now.
Right? Oh, exactly.
Plus it started pouring down rain. It got crazy. I'm actually uploading that video, like a video of that right now.
Nice.
Maybe we could look at some of it, but yeah, if you want to play that video for a minute, I just need like a couple more minutes. I was about to take my dogs out real quick, and then
yeah, cool, absolutely, that works for me too. Because I also would like to go for a quick smoke, so I will play it for another 5 minutes. And like this guy is a freaking genius. I got to get him onto the APEC and onto just one of my real science things. He owns so many patents, and like this is a full 1.5 hour, or I think it's 1.5 hours. Oh yeah, one right in there in between 13 minutes. I'll play it before the end of this whole stream, but we'll play 5 minutes of it now, and then I'll play the rest of it at the end. But it's just the stuff this guy speaks about, like it's just like, oh my god, how have you not been off the list, martyred, I guess? But thank God he has not, because he is a gem of information, and we got to get this guy on. Oh, can you guys not hear the video? Whoops, 1 sec, I'll restart it.
A Fleet Association show in Minneapolis. I had just
actually, you know what? I'm gonna save this one to the very end, and instead, as it's more suiting, and shout out to Shem for reintroducing me to Chuck since my original chance. And lost contact. CF dash apps. RIP Chuck. How is the sound?
Hey everybody, video here for you today. We're going to go back to ancient Peru for one more video. I did 2 videos on Peru yesterday, including this one, Ancient Yenu, up over 13,000 feet. Want to thank my subs who commented on that video. Got a lot of nice comments, but today we're going to go down to a place that is quite spectacular, and I only found out about this place maybe a week ago or so when I was snooping around. It's right down here, and it's called Wakra Pucara. Here is where the ruins of Wakra Pucara are located, and I had only seen this on lists, and I had no idea how spectacular it was. But you get an idea of the setting here, up very high, but you really don't appreciate it until you see some pics. So why don't we go look around? Here is a look at Wakra Pucara. A very cool place here. There is stonework all through here, stairways. This is just a very stunning, cool place. And Wakra Pucara comes from the words that mean horned fortress. So that is very cool. This is a site that rivals any in Peru as far as beauty and location. On Google Earth, you really can't see that natural feature. It's a little distorted. But there are other ruins in the area. There are terraces, other things. It's a very cool place to look around on Google Earth. But let's take a look from this view over here. Here is one website I will leave below, Wakra Pucara, the most incredible Inca site you've never heard of. And there is a look from the distance here. Let's just read a little. It says, move over Machu Picchu.
Look at
Wakra
those
Pucara
terraces
is an epic Inca
and,
site that sees
like,
hardly any tourists.
Oh, giant
and is
mountain
most
terrace
definitely worth the
pyramid.
trek.
Oh, this is
The
actually a
distinctive rock,
site,
which
but
is
all the
covered in
rest
ruins,
aren't
is more than
recognized.
dramatic. The towering stone is perfectly nestled in a river valley surrounded by pronounced cliffs. This hidden gem site is still gaining popularity, as it was only just recognized as a natural heritage site in 2017. But I guess they attribute this to the Inca. Is there some older stonework in here? Well, I have seen some hints of it, but no matter who built this, quite an incredible place. It says, to really savor this place, plan on an adventurous overnight hike. It's quite easy to reach Wakra Pucara Archaeological Park from Cusco. Trek high into the Andes Mountains, like as in over 13,000 feet, to catch those literal breathtaking first glances of the hilltop fortress. So this place is at an altitude over 13,000 feet, just like Yenu. What was the reason they were building at such high altitudes? Was it because they were closer to the heavens or the gods or flooding, or what is the story with these building sites at such high altitudes? Leave your thoughts below. One thing that came to my mind's eye is this natural feature up here kind of reminded me a little bit about the natural features above Machu Picchu. I just thought I'd mention that. There are quite a few videos on this place, but none from people I am familiar with. But if you like using Google Earth, this is one cool area to check out. There is plenty of Inca walls and other ruins right in this immediate area. I'm just not sure we know a lot about this site yet. Here is kind of a panoramic shot with the ruins in the distance there. Here is a look at the Horned Fortress. Please leave your thoughts below on what that might mean. Not sure if we have an original name for this place, but here is some steps leading up to this high altitude ancient site. And there is some stonework looking out at the ruins up there. Seems the stonework is all over this area. Here is another website I will leave below, Wakra Pucara, Peru. More spectacular than Machu Picchu. Well, I think they're both pretty cool. But there is another look at the stone ruins along the pathway up to this site here. It says there's no way anyone could accuse the ancient Inca site of Wakra Pucara, Cusco, of being overvisited. In fact, most people have never even heard of this place. Hear the words Inca Fortress and Peru in the same sentence, and you probably think of Machu Picchu, the world-famous citadel, and the UNESCO World Heritage Site. It says not many people realize that aside from Machu Picchu, there are a handful of these lesser-known enigmatic alternatives in the Cusco region in southern Peru. One of the best of these is Wakra Pucara, an awe-inspiring archaeological monument perched high in the mountain peaks above the Apurimac River. Wakra Pucara in Peru has only recently been discovered. It was only made a natural cultural heritage site as recently as 2017. A lot of websites refer to this place up here as a fortress. I don't know. To me, it feels a little bit more like some sort of shrine or monument. Leave your thoughts below, but you see out there in the distance, there is some terracing. There is stonework all around this place. I think it is a massive complex, and there are stone ruins all around here. But here you see the formations up at the top. This is just very interesting. Get your mind going. But ancient cultures looked at natural features as sacred, and surely that's what they were doing at this place. This is another one of those sites that just kind of baffles the mind. Building at high altitude. Some pretty impressive stonework here. Seems we may have a couple different kinds, but this is just a fascinating place, and I'm glad I looked into it. Whoever built this place, it has a pretty special feel to it, and I can't get over how they just built the stonework up so high right into the side of this natural feature here. Very cool place, set in a spectacular setting. Now here we are down on the outcropping, just down from the Horned Fortress. There is some stonework down here. Inca stonework, most likely. But I was looking for some older, larger stuff, and this just gave me a little hint of it, maybe. I don't know. But that is a look at Wakra Pucara. Well, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. that is a site I'm glad I documented, a site that maybe some of you have never even heard of, but this might gain in popularity as time goes on. Spectacular Huacra Pucara. That is another high altitude ancient place in Peru. Very fascinating, spectacular scenery. Seems to have it all down here. Not many people visit here, but it seems like it's quite the trek to get there. That is ancient Peru. Hope you thought that was cool, and you all have a very nice day.
Have a good night, Mindful Exposures. I was watching one of Chuck's videos last night. It was about Rapa ET. It was this smaller island. I guess it was like 1,000 miles away from Rapa Nui, so I don't even know why it has the same name, but it's pretty crazy. I'd never heard of it before. I'll send a link to it in the chat.
Yes, please. And I have just found out that apparently I'm either being impostered or have had my Facebook hacked, and that there's some scammers trying to message my contacts asking for screenshots of their crypto wallets. A bit ridiculous. Definitely don't send it, and don't reply if you get this freaking ridiculousness. That is not me asking. Oops, come on. Is it going to focus? Is it as... it's not going to freaking focus. No. Block me. There we go. No. Anyways. Supposedly, they have my profile picture, my name, and everything. I don't know. More pain in the ass to deal with afterwards. That's what you get for getting just a few thousand followers on YouTube, and then all of a sudden the porn bots and the crypto scammies come everywhere. I guess it's because I chose Crypto Alchemist as the name. I kind of brought that upon myself. I still get about 3 emails a week from these freaking... It's so funny because their email address is all these freaking scam, like from I think it's like out of Korea or like a couple out of like France. This like bunked like email server and shit. It's all like, oh, okay, we want to send you thousands of dollars to advertise our stuff. Partnership, please. Now download and install this. And it's like, what? Install what now? Oh, go F yourselves, you freaking...
It's shocking that people still fall for that.
Right? I know. And like, I just knew from the... no matter how hard I wanted it to be real, you know, even from like the very first one, I knew it was not. And then it's like I just copied and pasted the, because it's not .com, it's like they have like .sk like u something and something or other. Anyways, you just put it into Google, dude. Just like for all these researchers that like actually do fall for it, and content producers that do, because there's lots out there. Because when I did Google it and do just like, you know, the basic research on Reddit, you'll find that there are these scam things that like so many people have suffered, and they're like, what the... Oh, that's like, really? You thought that Nigerian prince that needs $10,000 was gonna ship you $1 million because he needed that 10,000 to access his $1 million? Got an igloo to sell you in Hawaii too.
Michael Merrick, did he get the jab? I'm not sure. I was thinking about that the other day. I was trying to find videos from around that time period and see if he's mentioned anything about it. I don't think he would. But if he did, I mean, that sucks. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Because he did talk about alternative history, but he also kind of towed the line of mainstream history too. So who knows what his thoughts on the entire situation was.
Right? And like well, it's not the further back you go, because there was a lot of this open think and Atlantean and Lemurian and previous advanced civilization mindset understanding before World War I, and when everything was like rewritten after the 1800s and whatnot in World War II. But in between that and now, now being the most exposed of like all the alternative facts, theories, and possibilities and information. But then like a generation or 2 generations back, the alternative thinkers, they're coming out of a very closed box. So it's like they'll have specific parts that are right, and then the vast majority of the rest of like dogma or available information, it's just the same old groupthink. And I bring this up as like Graham Hancock, for instance, being just 1 generation back from like our current, like the Tartarian Titan, biogeology, geopolymer, all the rest of it sort of stuff, Antiquitech, anything of those sorts is a whole nother layer beyond. And that it's like it's not necessarily their fault, or that like making them like bad agents or trying to corrupt or something, because from their initial perspective, they still see it through certain ways, and it doesn't necessarily take away from the good work of the alternative facts that they've actually brought forward.
That's what I don't understand is how come they can't open their mind a little bit to some of the newer ideas? Why are people like so stuck in certain paradigms about certain things? Doesn't make sense.
Like
to me.
so, for instance, like John Anthony West versus Graham Hancock versus there's 2 more of them there, and like half of them went off of like sun plasma, and then a couple are off the comets, and then like there was a couple more off one more thing, and it's like for a good 5 or 10 years they were like all working together, bringing forward all this stuff on like advanced ancient machining in Egypt, the dating of the erosion, all this stuff, and then like the last 5 or 8 years they're all like at war, like hating each other, like trying to attack each other. It's like just because you're differing in what caused the cataclysm, now you're like trying to discredit every it's
when I was in Nashville either last weekend or the weekend before, and when I was in the hotel room, Ancient Aliens came on the TV. It was unbearable. Like I remember when I was younger and I watched it, I could actually sit through an episode, but
right.
It was very tough. I think it was William Shatner, the dude from Star Trek. He was on there. Like sitting in the middle of the table, and they're just like sitting around the table talking about the stuff, and it was shocking.
Like the first few seasons style.
It was nothing like what I remembered. I don't know.
Look at these guys. Like this guy's got like an alien, like a full face, but then like what sort of crown coming off? Like these are full figurines that, and they're the smaller ones. And like you can see, here's the path going up, and then it goes up like this way, and then it goes up this way, and then wrong button. Here we go. Here we go. So then, darn it. All right, path goes up here, and then from here you can get into this straight up carved platform path that is literally carved into the side of this cliff, going all the way up further and way the heck up out of that picture into more cliffs that then tuck away into the mountain itself. And like, look at all of these different, looks like blocks work, a lot of it. I don't know.
It's hard to tell. I've been looking at
it. Is right. It's like at which point now it's like, because the vast majority probably still is natural like processes, and then but to what degree? Well, look at this. Maybe the whole thing could have been like, is that a statue, dude, right there? Like head, arms, body, legs, like it could be.
So when you say it's a statue,
who
are you
knows?
saying
Like I've
like,
seen a lot of.
Are you saying that it's like a carved
Right,
statue, or is it like a human that's petrified or something? What are you saying? Or what are you guessing, I guess?
One or the other. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like could be either or right. So like it's something, but it's resembling these same things that seem to be everywhere. And like I more suspect carvings on a lot of it, but you know, like there's, for instance, Stellium 7 doing excellent real research to the point of going out, taking the samples, and then looking under electron microscopes and like actually getting extremely strong evidence of some of these, of actual cellular petrified structures within the organic rock, showing muscular tissues and bone tissues and stuff. So I believe there's probably a bit of both. And like, look, there's another one right here. Like, so here's the one, or there's several of them in there. What? So yeah, here's the main one here. And then there's another identical one right there. Possibly another one right here.
What do you suppose happens to the trillions of lithium-ion batteries during this event? Someone says.
To which event?
I don't know. I'm guessing
like
whatever
event, or like a cat. Like that's just gonna add to the boom, add to the size of the plasma flame.
Oh, so it's supposedly the galactic superwave, according to Bob John.
Okay, like so, the ones that believe of this ascension energy galactic waves. Very good question. Could turn everything more energetic, could have transmutations, could have I don't know, could go into all sorts of speculation. When you get into the what do you call it, holographic universe or multiverse aspects, then literally anything you put your conscious mind into thinking about and creating could possibly be. And if enough people put their combined conscious intent and creation into it, eventually they'll all find enough of that evidence within their own perspective and physical realm to prove it. You know, it's like everything exists simultaneously, and that this actually does look like some vast, ancient, crazy construction in many ways. And to what degrees are what we have to start figuring out. But these guys down here and the carvings into the cliffs, that is what I'm saying is 100% artificial, man-made. And so these guys here, what was pretty crazy was when the sun was above, they had like faces showing on this part and this part that looked pretty real. Just the shading that it's so cool, the depth of these, and that I started paying attention to that aspect of lots of these ancient monoliths and megalithic guardian things from originally, it's either Jim Will or Jerry Wills. No, oh my God. There's like Jim Willie, Jim Wills, and Jerry Will. There's like three different guys. Those three names are three different people that are all in the alternative history research. It's one of them that has like X-Charted TV or something that showed these same sort of stuff in the Andes down in Peru originally, as well as in Mexico, and where he paid off the different government officials, security guards, and military, and you'd see them like escorting him, allowing him to go like through the fences, lead him into the entrance of the cave, and stand at the top and be like, "You're on your own," in like Spanish, and like he'd like go down as far as he could with the camera and like the flashlights, and like would show like where the different booby traps that had already gone off like were, and like where the other ones that they'd known about were, and then it was like not going further than that because, well, the last time they went down they lost 30 people, sort of thing. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's terrifying. I don't know if I'd do it.
Right? Like, yeah, Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of I think there's definitely something going on with these structures. What you're showing right now, I'm not familiar with at all. It looks massive. If it was construction, that's just huge.
Right? And like,
I would say it's more
What-
likely. I would definitely entertain the idea that people were able to carve into these mountains and make
yeah,
structures or things. But I don't know.
that's
I
what
don't know
I
if that's an
believe.
entire building or something that they
Yeah,
built.
right. That's what I think too. And actually, Bob Greenyer of the Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project, British UK professor and academic, he's actually been showing. And when he went over to Japan with the tests of the geopolymer over there, and then this wind hex thing that they've built and are now replicating, that it's able to take this stone and ionically separate it essentially into the same sort of monoatomic powder stuff that I'm making through electrolysis, but that it's like just through vortex spinning of air and the rock or whatnot, that it grinds it down and breaks the ionic bonds of the minerals down to the dust that then they're able to use into the geopolymer and like remake it, so that essentially that the quarry wherever they're quarrying from, they weren't taking them in 100-ton blocks. They were just getting a basket full of the stuff, breaking that rock down into dust, from the dust taking it as cement, essentially this geopolymer mixtures, and breaking it out. And then the tunnels, all these underground tunneling and stuff like that, it would be very easy essentially then for you to be working where you're carving it out, and then everything that you carve out, you're just on the spot, one room over or whatnot, breaking it down into it and then recasting it as the bricks that you're then building with to solidify the different foundations, make the different rooms or the entrances and all of that, as we often see. And it kind of makes sense then of how it's both the natural formations along with these megalithic geopolymer blocks of identical substance alongside it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could see something like that
happening. And that this wind hex thing, it doesn't even require electricity or anything of the sorts. It's like this super cavitation through air vortex, essentially. So a Victor Schauberger style application of technology that the ancients would have been using to make it work very efficiently.
Earlier, I went to this quarry that was next to that cave I was exploring the other day, and it's the one that's connected to the caves that I was talking about, where you could keep walking from the cave and get to it, and it's like fenced off and there's barbed wire and stuff.
Like,
and I took
am I pareidolia, or does that kind of look like a Buddhist dude, like, or something, like the eyes, nose, mouth, a hat, one arm up with his mouth to his hand to his mouth, other arm down, like, do we see that or no? I
can kind of see it. It's just I don't know.
Kind of blurry too. I see these things everywhere. Like, I don't know. I just don't know. Oops.
To me, like, I guess what would add more weight to it is if you just could make the connection to Buddhism in some form of history, for the reason that it would be there. Because why would it be there if there's no evidence of Buddhist being there? Where is this?
Thing. The Grand Canyon complex, there is the Buddha temple there. There's the legendary documentation and story of Kincaid bringing both Egyptian as well as Oriental Buddhist mummies and statues out. And that was a key part of the original article of the Smithsonian Kincaid, was that he said both Egypt and Oriental and Buddhist carvings in that. And then just to add it in, if there's this gotta pull it up now, those Montana megaliths that would literally just be about 150 miles south of this location, Let's take a look at the one that they labeled the Buddha. That does, I don't know if you saw it. It looked a lot like a giant megalithic Buddha in Montana. And
Well,
that
similar to the stuff that you find in Afghanistan that have been destroyed
Yeah.
by ISIS. So I mean, it's entirely possible.
right? And like that, they're pretty much documentations of like the Buddha statues everywhere, or like the Jesus travels everywhere. Like that, there was I guess, multi-ethnic or multi-religious or just existence throughout. What's the right sectarian? The good one where everybody coexists, but that it's evidence of it all over a lot. Oh, here we go. The Buddha one. I think it looks pretty Buddha. But it would be super ancient then, though, like a lot. I guess we'd be going way past the time frame of what they claim for Buddha if these megaliths things, like if this guy here in Montana is a Buddha, I guess it could also be right? And they've named it the Buddha in Montana, but definitely could not be as well. Although often on these ones, you see all this black scarring. Like, was that the outer plasma catastrophe, nuclear bomb, something heat that hit some of them? Like, there seems to be some petrification on a lot of this stuff as well. Like in the Petra, Jordan area too, on a lot of them and stuff, as well as throughout all of the Badlands. Anywhere that's labeled Badlands, half of the stuff has some of the black on it, but who knows? Oh, that's what they're calling the dragon thing. There's so many that I've seen around that look like these ones where it's
like
indented. Right? Like, look at that unibrow. It's like the evil Maggie Simpson. Could be nothing, could be something. Oop. Like, is that a dude? I don't know.
Very easily could be. I don't really look into these giant sculptures that often, so this is all pretty much me saying
oh, look at like that. Looks like each one being a different carving. That, too bad it's so pixelated. That could be pretty cool.
It almost looks like a chameleon, and the one that your mouse is over.
Right? Like, is it He-Man, or which one is that has like the dude that's got like a big green freaking head like this, and it's like white or blue face? I don't know. It looks like a comic to me. And that looks like Benjamin Franklin almost to me. I don't know. That's supposedly a Georgian albino turtle, and this is a raving jellyfish. Like, how do they have bioluminescence that's better than our LED strips?
Shout out to God.
Right? Shout out to God every time. Yeah, we got to start trying. I give it a 50-50, but I think in principle, if it's these like the triple ring magnet speaker, and then they also put a double solenoid copper wires around it. It would be the over unit, or the free energy isn't coming from nowhere. It would be taking radiant sound waves and putting it back into magnetism and then converting it to electricity or electricity.
I have the speaker. I just don't have those circular magnets yet. So I'm going to try that after you sent that video.
This shit, like, what? Like, what the fuck are these? This shit trips me out every time. Ever since they first started appearing, it's like, is this shit real? And supposedly they are. Like, what causes that? Like, what goes so far down in these perfect freaking like tremor worms? What's going on? I don't want to get eaten by tremors.
I don't know, but when you see those videos of people sticking the GoPros down the pipes and stuff like that, you see like rivers and all that good stuff underneath. So
right?
who knows what's down there?
Underground oceans and seas and stuff.
The first thing I would do if I was at that sinkhole is try to fly a drone down there.
Right? Yeah. Right? Definitely. That would be.
I'm gonna check out this Corey's video real quick.
100%.
Hopefully it's HD. My computer is awful.
Oh, it's better than the old potato of Luke had. Now Luke's running the metaverse machine.
So yeah, there was this video here. I was going into a quarry and it said it was like a federal offense to be there.
Right? Like, anytime there's like anything that could show a little bit of evidence of something, like, no,
Let's see if we can
this public property, you're going to jail if you go explore this one.
Yeah, but I don't know. I used to deliver for FedEx and I delivered here before. I didn't realize that they were that weird about it.
Right? And that's a good way to do the boots on the ground. Just like have a Uber Eats bag with you, or like a little freaking FedEx vest, and the camera in the FedEx bag as you're filming the sites.
Wow, it's only 360. Let's see if we can get it up to 1080 real quick. So this is the cave. The cave that I was looking at the other day. This is like a stone's throw away from it. So if I would have exited the cave and went to the east a little bit and then went to the south and walked up a hill, this is what I would eventually come to, is this quarry here.
Really?
So it was called Indian Village before, but they took down the signs. I think they're changing the name of it. They tore down the.
They've just quarried away the former Indian village that existed here. That can.
It kind of ties into what you're saying though about how they break stuff up, because I've never seen anyone hauling stuff out of here. Like I said, I delivered here when I worked for FedEx, maybe like, I don't know, over 50 times I delivered here, and I never saw anyone having much big stones. It was always just like grinded up material in the back of dump trucks. So let's see if it would actually play. Is it lagging for you, or is it playing?
Seeing it, yeah, and you got it muted, so it's not like it's choppy in the sound. It's pretty good. Yeah, there's some decent resolution.
No sound. I can turn the sound on there if you want it.
Probably better.
So then on the other, I went to that.
Oh, this is your footage. This is your footage. So 100% you can turn it on if you want.
This is my footage. So this is the other side. I kind of just came over here. It says no hiking, of course. It's like a mountain bike trail apparently now. I didn't know about that, but you're not allowed to walk here. So more rules for no reason.
It's like, no,
there's a part where
you can't go. You have to be on the bike. No getting off the bike. Only crashing, not looking around. All right. Nothing to see here.
So that, oh, hold on. It's not letting me do things. Okay, so do you see this giant, like, I don't know what this would be called, like a cell phone tower or something right here? That's pretty much where that cave was that I was exploring. So that cave that I was in the other day, that's where that is.
Back into that area.
So this quarry is massive, is the point I'm trying to say, because the other side where I was at, that's where that tower was. So all the way back there, that tree line, that's basically where I was at the first part of the video that we just watched. So this quarry is massive. But yeah, check out.
Well, that is a lot of removed material.
Look how small that crane is compared to that wall. That's like a. And this wall right here, I couldn't tell what this was.
Deep,
you see these
strip, like, damn.
These almost look like they're shaped right here, as if it's actually a wall or something right in the middle of the screen right now.
So
I get a better view
the
of it
thing is,
eventually.
if it was an actual quarry, that's where we have to go into these sites and see if the brick or if those blocks are going like more than one layer in, or what can form it in actual quarries of modern quarries is that they'll have buzzsaw, like the big stone buzzsaws going in and eating on it and like cutting out blocks, which will then leave like an impression of the next set of blocks onto the walls. If they're doing it in that sort of machine way, I've seen it sometimes. But simultaneously, I've also seen, and we've all seen, where it is just megalithic blocks like that are the walls that build up everything. And it's like exactly like what you just showed there, that I'm going to take pictures of this mountain that show that exactly what you showed there that could have been done by modern day saw, or the only other option is that they're ancient blocks.
The suspicious thing about this site is that the narrative of it says that they started quarrying it in the 1850s, but all the maps I found from 1880, 1895, 1910, everything like that, it doesn't show. And there's this stair set right here too, real quick.
Really?
See that?
Oh, but, wow, yeah.
But that's metal, so it's very recent.
So they said they started it in like the 1850s, and then like mostly would have been using it in the time you just said, yet in the maps of that time period, it doesn't really show them doing anything in here at all.
Yeah, it still has the property of the families that own this area. Because the Shrum Mound video I posted the other day, this is down the street from that Shrum Mound. So all this big area, this quarry is probably like, I don't know, I'd like to say 6 to 8 miles. You have you have 3 different quarries which are separated by just very small streets. That's the only thing separating them. So I thought this part was interesting too. Kind of looked like it was part of an old mound, and then right here to the right with that tree on top of it, you can see it's I don't know how,
right? Like I'm really starting to suspect any spot that is like a quarry is them desperately quarrying out the evidence of showing these runes, like unexplainable rune spots, while also trying to like dig for whatever leftover treasures or technology or whatever the heck was in there. And some of them possibly too, as Dutch Sense found a lot of these quarries and locations because of the earthquakes that kept happening around them, as well as that there's a lot of the quarried starfort spots now simultaneously have oil derricks coming directly out of them as well, that there could be some sort of resources that are below them that the ancients had built on for whatever reasons. But yeah, look at that. That looks all megalithic. Yeah.
Does this look like a wall to you, or does this look... It reminds me of like when
that looks like a megalithic wall more than anything now.
It's right in the dead center of the quarry too. So it reminds me of those walls when you're little, where you're playing with those toy soldiers.
My little saw explanation of Devil's Advocate doesn't really work because they would have been straight frickin' lines, where these are looking more like the polygonal block lines, and that you would not be getting those sort of angles and separations with modern day stone cutting.
Up Tranquil Vortex. But yeah, this is, I don't know, that was wild when I saw that wall, whatever this is.
Yeah. That looks like a bastion fort wall, like the ones Paul Cook showed in the UK sort of thing, that were like half pyramid freaking megalithic wall ones, if you remember that. That's actually what and the quarry that he showed on one of the UK islands, that actually almost looks identical to it.
Yeah, send me that video. I'd like to see the comparison. I don't know if I maybe have seen it, but I don't remember off the top of my head right now. Yeah, right here, I don't know what's going on up here, but they wouldn't let me go any further. I'm gonna go back here and walk around next time I get a chance. It's not too.
Man.
This about 30 minutes away from my house. And then right here is this strange other. I don't know.
Right, like that.
hill, whatever this is. And then I think I zoom in on that
What?
staircase that I showed earlier too. Yeah, this is another
Man,
wall. That's
and it was called Indian Village. Like, oh, this. Don't worry about this indigenous ancient megalithic site here that we're just going to freaking destroy.
that's the thing, is that this area I first came here when I was like maybe 14 years old with a bunch of friends, and we were walking through that area, the cave that I was exploring, the Indian Village part, and we were just walking around, and we just kept going straight, and that's when we saw like a barbed wire fence or something. So we were young, like whatever, let's go in there. So we went in there, and there were signs that said caution, landmines. It was for this quarry that I'm showing you right here. And ever since then, it's always looked the same. And a little bit south of here, there's another quarry that's right on the other side of where that stair set was I was just showing. And they actually like recently filled that back in and put apartments on top of it. But before then, we used to go swimming in there and stuff. There was like massive rocks all over the place. I actually have some pictures on my Flickr account. Maybe I could find them in the future. We could look at
That's
them.
dope, man. Like, they have to cover them up and destroy them. And they've just, when you're in these sites as like a kid, even, right? Like there's like an energy to it, or you're like looking around and you're like, there's something more to it than what they try to tell us it is. And the more we dig in, the more we find.
Tranquil Vortex. It's weird you asked that, because after that storm and everything happened, I don't know, I've been having these weird dreams. Someone, I think it was you and another person, commented on my video and said I got possessed after I went to that cave. It's like I've been having these strange dreams
Really?
that I've never had before, and I was just like, okay,
oh my
I don't want
god
this to happen anymore. So maybe I am possessed now. But I mean, my grandma
burn some sage, put a circle of salt around your bed.
My grandma claims she's half Native American, so I guess I'm part Native American. Maybe they forgive me. Okay, so this is another mound that I went to earlier today. I was driving to work and just saw this. I looked it up on the internet. It was called the Watch House Circle Mound, because there's some sculpture here called the Watch House, but this mound doesn't have any history to it or any name really. But it's huge. Of course, it's being blurry. 1 second.
Chances are there probably was a watch house on it at some point.
Well, there's one there now, and it's been. I'll show you.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
That's why they call it the Watch House, is because there's a sculpture house there called the Watch House by some artist. So let me pull this up real quick, actually.
There was no history of another buried pyramid, so we're just going to make it up and act like it's art.
We'll bring this video back up in a second. I just want to show you this map real quick.
See, Tranquil Vortex, I agree. Shem, it's not just being part native. You have to make an offering to the spirits to make peace with them, to leave your vessel.
I apologize. I'm not making an offering. Okay, so this is a book called The Atlas of Ohio by William C. Mills. And basically, this is Franklin County, the area where everything we've been looking at so far is in. And this is, I believe, from 1895. And all these triangles here are mounds that were documented by these people. And then you also have these earthworks that are in the shape of this half circle crescent thing. And also right here, it says big, and it has like a pyramid type thing in Clintonville, which this site that this is talking about is, I used to walk when I was 18, 19 years old. I lived in Clintonville, and I was actually walking around the woods a lot of times back then. And I do remember seeing huge structures, but back then I wasn't, paying attention.
Right.
But when you walk around the Olentangy River in this part of town, you'll see that there's like a canal basically built all the way down the side of it. You can see stone on the side of the river that no one really thinks about or talks about, but people use it for canoeing and stuff now.
And it's like, but there's no history of when it was built or how it was, like it predates everything. And it's like, that's the most advanced engineering up the water area. Oh man.
Yeah, exactly. In this section that says big, I think this is right where they used to have an amusement park too, but they tore it down. There's like a triangle and stuff there. So it's really weird history. But anyways, okay, so you see this triangle right here. Can you see my mouse?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is Shrum Mound. This is the one that I documented in that video the other day.
Yeah.
So the ones
Nice.
that this is a mound right here that is now destroyed. I've been looking for this one for a couple of days. I've driven all around here. I've compared it with maps. It doesn't seem to exist anymore. The one we're looking at right now would be right here. So it's not even on this map.
Oh.
So basically what I'm gonna do throughout the summer is try to hit as many of these as I can and see how many I can document, plus all the ones that I know about over in this Washington, where it says Washington, Amlin, Hayden, this area over here. I know that there are more. I'll show 2 mounds that are not listed on
What
this
you
map
need to
in this
do
video.
is find one extra one that is like easily accessible with a backhoe that isn't documented, that has cover from major roads, that can be snuck in one night, and put the other 30 that you find on the map. But
That's the thing is I
one
was
out.
looking at the LiDAR machines earlier, and I don't know much about LiDAR, but I found some for not that expensive, so maybe we can work out something with that in the near future. But for now, I just want to take video of them because getting them documented is the
first
most
year
important thing.
documenting them all, adding them to the map, so then like the second year getting the lineup, man.
I visited this one out here by Brown Township. I visited this one the other day as well, and there's supposed to be another one right next to it, but I couldn't find that one. But this one still, one of these 2 listed here still exist. But I think it's a lot larger than what they say it is now. And I'm working on a video. I've been filming too much footage, but let's get back to the other thing real quick.
Been doing a lot of boots on the ground.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to get out there and try to find these spots because they get rid of them so easily for whatever reason. They pretend like they're so sacred, but anytime they want to build a house or whatever, they're just automatically gone.
It's sacred if you're going to try to find out and document what's inside of it. But hey, if you want to destroy it and wipe it off the face of the earth, go right ahead. Just make sure you dump all the bones into the ocean.
Hopefully this video works. It seems like it's not working anymore. Okay, so this, keep in mind, we just looked at that map. This one was not listed on that map whatsoever. Look how huge it is.
Right? Like, it's the almost circular one.
This is a circular mound.
No, I see it now. It's more steppy, more angled.
So this area right now
That's huge.
It's way bigger than that Shrum Mound I was at the other day, and they say the Shrum Mound is the largest documented mound in Franklin County that still exists. This one is bigger. It doesn't make any sense. But this area here is now a rec center, a lacrosse field, and a soccer field. And they also have the Dublin Irish Festival here, like a little bit to the southeast of this mound. So yeah, this is just a slow walk around to show the shape. It actually kind of, you see here on the right side, it kind of like spills out to almost like the shape of a horseshoe. It's really strange.
Yeah,
so I end up walking around here and walking up the side.
There's a lot of them that have these semicircle earthenworks and stuff into them.
Fast forward a bit.
I do believe a lot of those aspects probably have to do with astrological alignments, and that potentially they would have had poles on certain heights of the semicircles and then use them for the equinoxes and solstices, or measuring in between them and stuff. Gotta figure out more.
Possibly. So that building right there, that's the watch house apparently. So
that's the watch house.
An artistic, yeah. So that's an artistic piece by some dildo, basically.
It's a shed with a cancerous lump on it.
Just wait till you see the inside of it, dude. It's really weird in there, but I don't know. This reminds me, the middle of this, I haven't seen very many mounds like this, so I'm completely ignorant to the situation. But to me, it looks like one of those like meteor craters or something like people say. But it's weird how the vegetation is so different than the outside of it.
Yeah, man.
We'll talk about that again in a second, how the vegetation is different, because I was looking at Google Maps and this isn't even here before like 2001. So I don't know if this is even like, I don't know what's going on with this site. But as you can see, it's huge. Imagine if this was connected all the way to the top. Imagine if that center piece wasn't missing, how big this would be.
the day that all of these start getting like real LiDAR and ground penetrating radar, it's gonna be good.
Let's kind of zoom in here to see if we could spot anything before I walked down there. Let's fast forward a little bit. I want to show you this really weird part of this watchtower that made me, when I first saw it, I got goosebumps because it's so weird and
just like an image
like
of
it.
Jeffrey
Didn't like it.
Watching.
Basically. No, here's the inside of this little watch house. It has these holes in the floor, I'm guessing for rain drainage, but when I panned up to the ceiling in a second, you'll see right there.
What?
That's a dead cat sculpture.
What?
So on the ceiling, for some reason, there's like a dead cat, or I don't know if it looked dead in real life, but that's a cat sculpture. It just looks like it's
Who
dead
does
hanging on the wall.
that?
So that's disturbing.
That is very disturbing.
Does that not? It looks dead to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm
definitely a dead cat. That's a dead cat on the roof.
So we'll get out of here.
What the fuck?
So, I don't know.
Like that they have these weird ass like they're perverting and distorting because those were on the roof for casting specific shadows, and then the dead cat or whatever the heck, like they're definitely defecating whatever sacred energy or whatever the heck was going on with that, and whatever the ancients were most likely doing with it, if that was the purpose of it.
Well, that's the thing is across the street from here, by the lacrosse field and the soccer field, I saw even more what could be designated as earthworks. That they aren't, but they could be. They're they're in the shape of like serpents and everything. I didn't take videos because I had to hurry up and get to work. I just kind of stopped by here quickly and did this.
Oh, you're definitely gonna have to go back from that. We're gonna have to get you a nice drone. Get you a drone. Do you have a drone? Got to get a drone.
My dad has one. I was thinking about having him come down to that Strum Mound with me.
Yeah, right. Go with your old man, and like, especially like if you're saying like there's like the snake style ones and whatnot, it's guaranteed corresponding earthworks, and they're probably what I suspect they could be is these geoglyphs, the radial things, those earthen mounds. It's going to be interesting when I go out to Medicine Hat here in a couple weeks, and then if the earthenwork lines that Arthur Ferrum uses as the radials for measuring, if those are these same sort of in what you just have around there, the exact, if they're the same things or if it's a different type, basically. Could be what it is.
When I was looking for that mound earlier, that it was on the right side of that map. I doubt you remember it because we're talking about so much. I found tons of what could be designated as earthworks, but it's obviously impossible to prove without LiDAR or a drone or something. But right here, I saw some deer. That was pretty cool. They're saying hello. But yeah, let's move on.
Right.
I'm gonna real quick. I just want to show the Google Earth of this to show you that it didn't exist for very long. Apparently, I mean, the ground looks completely different. Hold on, let's see. I think I'm already there on Google Earth, either that or somewhere close by. Yeah, so here it is. So this is what it looks like in 2002. Let's go to 2022 real quick, and then we'll go back to 1994 or whatever it was. So this is what it looks like now. This is the Dublin Rec Center right here. There used to be a skate park right here. It's now been moved over to here. And what I was talking about with the other possible earthworks were right in this area. You can't see them at all on Google Earth, but they were basically just mounds. So let's go back in time here.
That they're covering the potentials up every chance they get with different parks, and gonna drive over it with the tractors.
So this is the first time that it's on Google Earth is in 2002. So when we go back after this, it's not, this is completely gone.
Really?
Nothing.
What?
No sign of it. This is 1994.
That's strange.
So I don't know what the situation is with this mound. There's no story about it that I can find online. I'm gonna call the Historical Society and kind of pick their brain about this one and a couple other ones, and hopefully get some updates about it. But Yeah, I just
Okay.
found that
Either
extremely
a
strange.
tremor is gonna pop out of that hole in like a year, and it's gonna just be like one of those Turkey Siberian sinkholes, or an interdimensional UFO landed there. Right? Well,
It's like a crop circle. Yeah, I see what you're saying. All right, so one more mound I want to show you is the weirdest mound I've ever been to in my entire life. So, well, I haven't been to very many, so I guess it's not saying much, but this one is
well, he's
very
10 so
strange.
far in the last couple months. You know, well, no, you've been to hundreds throughout your life, living amongst them, just not counting them.
Not really, yeah. Well, I'm talking about at least just like to go there and explore. So, okay, this one is I don't even know what the story is behind this one exactly, but it's, well, you'll see. It's even bigger than the one we just looked at. It's bigger than Shrum Mound. It's absolutely massive,
What?
and it's not documented. It's unbelievable. It's
like the bigger they are, the more they try to just ignore them, and like cognitive dissonance. No, that cannot be.
Dude, just okay. So the first thing that you notice here is that they put these bunny sculptures on the top of it.
Right? The perverting it with whatever on top, and like whatever energy was coming out, you got to scatter it with something, right? Like,
let me see if I can get it HD real quick. So this one is also in Dublin. Oh, this one hasn't become. Oh, I guess it has. Okay, so this one is way bigger than the one we were just looking at. They even have a sidewalk that they've put onto it to get to the top of this. So what's weird about this one too is when you look back on Google Earth like we just did with the other one, it wasn't here before either. So is this even a mound? I don't know. It seems like a mound. Is it even showing up? No. Oh yeah.
is what showing up? Yeah, I've seen it.
Sometimes my computer freezes. I wasn't sure what was happening.
Oh yeah, like definitely. And
so this is huge.
So one of the ways to like verify that they are the mounds and the pyramids will be to film them on the equinoxes and solstices, or like go up on like at noon on some of them, see the sun, and like on sunrise and sunsets on those days. And on the equinoxes, it'll be like right on top, right at the dead center of the height of the pyramid. And then on the solstices, the sun will be like setting on the like edge of the north and the south sides of them.
I think actually at the end of this video, it is sunset. Because I was here during sundown, so maybe we can check that out and compare it to Google Maps too, because I'm going to show how it wasn't here before. But yeah, Tranquil, these are bunny sculptures. So when you look this place up online, that's all they talk about is the bunny sculptures, of course. So it's like almost to cover it up, right?
Oh, the bunnies!
Yeah, it's so laggy on my computer. I'm sorry, guys.
All good.
But yeah, it's like a
happens to all of us. Yeah, the bunny, just the bunny hill. It's just a bunny hill. So yeah, the way it works then with the astrological alignments of the solstices and equinox is that the solstice is as far north and south as the sun travels, where it appears on the horizon, and then the equinox is like right in the middle, right, where it's equal each way, twice a year, so that if they are the Mounds pyramids, that you'll only ever see the sun traverse the pyramid. It will never go past the pyramid. It'll just hit the one end of it and then start going back to the other end throughout the year. So I get a sense that each pyramid is a giant sundial, but a year dial.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I don't know much
That
about that.
actually makes. I'm gonna have to look more into that, and I'm probably gonna find a lot of architecture that has the same amount of the days back and forth and stuff. I'm gonna look into that. It's a good theory. Also, like the 3-door arches.
Well, now
right,
that you mentioned that, I'm gonna start paying attention too.
yeah,
Sorry,
and
go
like
ahead.
the main doors, like the main big arch, and then you'll have like the 2 smaller arches next to it, and like cathedrals and like pyramids, even like the rectangle big door, and then the 2 little ones. Those, every single one of those, whether it's like Greek or Roman or megalithic or cathedral or today's government and bank buildings, all of them that have the 3 arches. The center arch, on the solstices, the sun is rising and centering right in the middle of it, and on the equinox or solstices, it's setting and rising on in one or the other, and transitioning back and forth between. And they are all aligned to that. And shout out to Flat Fact channel for making that correlation and observation originally.
Yeah, it's a good one. I don't pay much attention to astrology and stuff like that, but I need to start doing it if I'm going to be doing this type of
right. Like,
I guess I can still just document it for fun. It doesn't matter, but
yeah, like even just like getting on the sun rises and sets and as close as possible to those specific days of full moons, as well as the equinoxes and solstices, to just try to get pictures on the horizons or on center noon for as many of them as possible over the years. And it's like, if you get it and it aligns, then boom, that one most likely is, and you're verified, move on to the next each time, sort of thing.
A little skunky. That wall also goes all the way around it. It's very crude, so it's probably just made by whoever built this neighborhood.
Oh, exactly. Right.
It goes for a long time.
Oh, look at.
And then it looks like they may be like at one point this was a mound. It looks like they have like doorways to get inside.
Right, like I just noticed, like right there,
took some stuff out.
Audit, like right. It's like, why are there always these little doors that seem to be? They tell you go into nothing, but it's like, is that actually the entrance to the underground, freaking city that's in all of them? I don't know.
So there's a couple options with this site, because they've converted the bottom section right here to the right of where my dog is. You see those picnic tables?
Yeah.
They've converted that into like a kind of a sprinkler system. So this doorway right here could be housing that sprinkler system currently. But what I'm saying is if
they would have capped the old aquifer that would have been going through it, and now using it like into that. Is that what you're saying? That's what I'm thinking.
Possibly, yeah. I was just saying, like, basically they converted their excavation site into this, like, instead, because they cut off pretty much part of the mound. I'll show it towards the end of this video, but they cut off part of the mound, and it's basically like a wall. But yeah, here's the entryway. I show that real quick. I think I show the skunk one more time just because I like skunks.
Oh, that's dope. An actual skunk. I thought you're like making a joke that you took weed out, and then real skunks are dope, man. No. They're cool animals. Yeah, you just got to keep your distance and respect the skunk, and they're freaking funny animals. Most of them have good personality.
That white dog I have. Yeah, they're pretty nice, because the white dog I have, she always tries to go up to him, and she's only been sprayed once. But yeah, those doors right there. Who knows if that? See how they cut into the mound basically right here?
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
No way they built this structure around this.
I know, like there's so many. Like that's the primest example of what they do, and they're like, "Oh, it's a little Sellville engineering hut thing, storage. Don't worry about it," or whatever the heck. And it's like, is that actually the entrance into the underground complex, or like the buried complexes? Most likely.
If anything, That would be amazing if it was, but if anything, it's at least a way
The
for them
water.
to maybe excavate whatever was there, and also now house the water system. So yeah, this is where they basically cut off and they replaced it with whatever this is. These massive
the
rocks
quarried,
around for some
destroyed Indian village that they had to build something or do something with all of that stone that used to be.
This is about, I would say, like 8 to 10 miles away from Indian Village, so it's kind of far. But look, they put these weird Irish faces all over the rocks.
See, right? So it's like,
right at first.
If they're doing it today, or could they possibly have already been in there? Because, like, I swear to God, I see those on mountains everywhere and everyone. Like,
well, you be the judge when I zoom in on them. They're kind of funny looking. I go up because I just realized that it was there. It's a fountain, so it's more than likely recent, unless they just drilled a hole in its mouth. But yeah, like, there's a little leprechaun guy. So this is what they added onto the mound, basically, is what I'm saying. Because
those are the facade faces.
Yeah, because there's a dividing line. I'll show it here in a second, but let's fast forward to it actually, because this is we get this part. Oh yeah, and there's this weird trap door thing up. So this is why those doors don't really make sense. Yeah, it like doesn't make sense that other door is there because they have another doorway on the top of it. It's so laggy I can't fast forward correctly.
Oh, good.
Maybe like 6 months to a year from now, I might be able to get a new computer. Who knows?
Right? Like, oh my God. It's gonna be another fun month. At least I finally got my first YouTube paycheck. It went from over right. Like, look at that. Like, what is it going into? There's something down.
That was the dividing line right there I was talking about. So there's where they cut the mound and they added these rocks or whatever.
Weird.
And they added the water system. Mound would have extended out way further than this had they not done this.
Like, it's just like, why they put the resources into doing the stupidest things that always somehow alter and like just mask and damage at least slightly, but probably in crucial ways that some know about all of these sites and whatever's going on with them. Especially when
they definitely have it.
Oh, sorry, continue.
I was just gonna say they definitely have a reason to cover this up because it's just a random massive mound in the middle of Dublin, so they don't really want people to know about this, I guess. So they just like put these bunnies on top, and every time you look it up, that's all you hear about is the bunnies. But what were you gonna say? I just show this
when it gets into resonant frequencies and the geometrics of resonant frequencies, and that the wave guide, the fractal waveguide geometry of these pyramids and just structures and whatever the heck they were doing with it, but then in particular, for instance, Sam Osmanovich's work and research, as well as Michael Tellinger's, Sam with the Bosnian pyramids, and then from what he discovered there, then using their EMF, whatever special different bandwidth length or wavelength equipment beyond the visual and audible human wavelengths into these other ones, and then found these beams and these different amounts of energies coming out of both the pyramids as well as Tellinger and the stone circles, that it is somehow harvesting, directing, and amplifying actual and like earth energy wavelength. It's like it is EMF. I guess some of it's sound.
It could be used for something like that because this.
Yeah, like
I'll show you in a second. Like maybe it's just like a way of them influencing people's behavior, because this is like one of the wealthiest areas of town where this mound is at. So maybe they're just, I don't know, maybe what you're
like you could
saying
be
makes
putting
sense.
out a field of energy and stuff as well. And then when you cut off a portion of it, then all of a sudden you're distorting whatever the harmonious energy structure was of it and corroding part of it that could potentially turn something that could have been beneficial in health or energy in, of whatever ways into something that then becomes destructive. All just straight speculation here, but
I agree with you, because I mean, a lot of these rich families and like their children end up becoming like drug addicts and stuff like that, and their families fall apart. So I mean, who knows if it's obviously just speculation, but what you're saying could potentially tie into that. I just want to show one last time how massive this is. You see my dog so small on this.
And how big, yeah, when you were up there, like those freaking dancing rabbit humanoid thingies, like were towering over you. Like they're like 12 to 20 feet.
Just to give some perspective, I guess, before we close out of this. But I'm going to show real quick on Google Earth where this is at. It's right by a golf course, of course.
Right. So then what else has been covered up in the golf course? Like, and then they just expanded to, oh, we got to do the rec center and the football fields and these repeating patterns. Like, it's getting undeniable with so much of it.
Okay, so this is the one we were looking at earlier, the Watchtower Mound. Yeah. So we're gonna go probably like,
oh, that's maybe so creepy with the dead cat, and then like, oh man.
Yeah, I know. That made me so uncomfortable when I saw it. I was just like, oh, what the hell? So basically, we're probably going like 2 miles away from it to get to the other mound. So heading south here. Let's see over here. Okay, so this is the other site right here. This is what it looked like in 2002. So this is what we're just at. That's 2000. So let's go back to the 94. It's not even there. Nothing.
Huh.
And just to show what it looks like now, this is where we were just at with the bunnies. As you can see, the chunk missing out of it, as I was explaining in the mound right here. That entire chunk has been taken out of the mound. You have the doorway on the, looks like the northeast side of it. You have this doorway to get underneath the mound if you would like to. Okay, so this is the golf course I was talking about right to the left here. This is a private golf course for these people that live in the neighborhood. Like I said, this is a very wealthy area, so these people get their own golf course. And I think it's called the Jack Nicklaus tournament or something. It's like a very large golfing tournament. Happens about 5 miles up the road here. If you just follow this road up here, it leads to this. So I'm guessing there's probably a ton of mounds up here as well. There's like another golf course up here that's like it's like a worldwide popular golf course. I don't know much about golf, so sorry. I don't know what it's called, but I know it's named after Jack Nicklaus, I believe.
And what's the one where he had like the axe and went after his family?
That's The Shining.
Yeah, there we go. I envision a shining room somewhere within the course, buried within the course, maybe buried under that mound.
Let's get this up to perfect north if we can real quick to see what it looks like. My computer's being laggy. So this is what it looks like when it's aligned to perfect north. So look, it kind of does line up with it.
Oh, yeah.
Weird. I think these stones are also really weird, too. I don't know why they just have a bunch of random massive stones in the middle of the field.
Very Karnak-like.
Pretty much what I've been up to. Couple other mounds I've been looking at, and
that's fun, man. That's dope.
I don't think I posted a video of the other one, but I'll just go to it on Google Maps real quick to see if it even shows up because I haven't looked at it. If I can even find it off the top of my head on Google Maps, I probably can't. Wow, this is it. Okay, so this mound, I posted an Instagram story about it. I don't think I posted anything else about it yet. This right here, this is a mound. It doesn't have any storage to it.
Affecting the foliage and the plant growth, like nothing on the mound itself. Almost like a dead zone.
I took a video of an entire walk around this place, and I don't know, it's really weird. The only thing about it is like a plaque right here that kind of just says something about the Adena culture. It doesn't give a name for this mound or anything like that. But when we were looking at that Atlas of Ohio, this was one of the 2 mounds that were supposed to be out here. So I'm looking for the second one right now. It might be, actually could just be this, because, you know, they grow trees on them sometimes too. But there's supposed to be at least 2 documented mounds out here. So yeah, I have a video of this coming out soon. Basically, what I'm speculating is that this entire area right here is more than likely earthworks in a mound, because when you look at this, actually, let's see if we can put the guy down.
Oh, yeah.
Guess we can't over here. Maybe I don't know if we'll be able to see it from over here, though. I should have uploaded the video of this, too. Yeah, you can't really see it. Can you zoom in?
They look very similar, the alternating mounds and these specific shaped little water lake ponds to the same as the geoglyphs Dutch since found, and then that Rex over at Leak Project in Diamond, his buddy, they went and just did another episode going to them a couple days ago, and it's like the earthenworks alternating with like water, some very similar water shaped things as what you're showing here.
This place is absolutely filled with ticks too, so it prevents you from like exploring in the woods a little bit. Last time I took my dogs like in this area with a blue line, for example, I swear I picked off like 30 ticks from one of my dogs. It was shocking.
Damn,
we can't really get a good look at it, but let's see if we can do it over here real quick. But basically what I'm saying is this entire, it seems like the mound has been cut to make this lake, possibly, because I know that this lake is more than likely man-made. I don't know for sure, but like,
oh, it's 100% man-made. It's just a matter of when. Is it recent or ancient?
Do I have a video of it? Yeah, because the street view is just not cutting it. It just seems like it's a huge mound, like it's one of the biggest ones I've seen so far. When I was walking around it, the way it looks, the way it's like a step mound that goes down into the water and leads all the way up to a certain point. It's
really like it's
kind of hard to explain.
Down into the water, hey? Might be something in the center of the lake.
Well, there is like a small island mound thing in the water too that's poking out of the top. So it could, I don't know. It's all weird. It's just, I'll show you the island real quick, and then we can. This little thing right here, it's like a little mound in the middle of the lake.
What?
I took some videos of it while I was there.
That's pretty cool. Okay, can we zoom out from directly above? Because like that a sunfish, or no, that's the wrong spot for the eye. What? No, never mind. I'm trying to think, is the water itself a geoglyph? Because look at the direct angles on it, like weird shit. I don't know. Strange. But the island then. Ooh, yeah, maybe that island during the solstices or equinox could be cool too.
Basically, I guess the shape I'm trying to say that the mound is if you just follow this part without grass. If you can see my mouse, I don't know if you can. Yeah. If you can just keep going all the way around as if it would continue, I think that's the entire.
I see. Yes.
You can kind of even see a little bit of the green.
100%. You can see it good. Look at that.
So I have some video from standing on this shoreline right here that kind of shows the angle of it, and then I took some videos from this beach over here as well. And then I walked all the way around this path and got some video of that as well, just to document it. And hopefully I can find that other
Fascinating
mound in the
as
near future.
Oh,
Take
and there's
this while
like
we're here and look for it real
river
quick.
going through all. Man, like it's just
This Darby Creek
so
area, when you
much
follow it, you follow this Darby
terraforming.
Creek to the south. There's like on that map we were looking at, the Franklin County Atlas. If we follow this big Darby Creek to the south, for a while there used to be a ton of mounds there. Actually, I'll pull up that book one more time. Why not? We're already here. And then after that, we can move on. Okay, so where are we at here? And another thing, this area right here, see how it's called Rome? They got rid of that. It no longer exists because the cops were basically dickheads. I didn't realize that there was some earthwork over here because I used to live actually in this area when I was like maybe 7 years old, 8 years old. So I'm gonna go back over there and check that one out here in the near future. Okay, so Creek, this is what I was talking about. See how there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all on that creek that we were just following to the south of where we were at. So there's the one we were looking at. One of these two triangles right here is the one we were just looking at. We followed that Darby Creek to the south here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 documented sites. And then if you follow it even further down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, I'm hoping to check out all of these.
A lot of terraforming. Like that's a lot of work.
The craziest part about it is south of Columbus here. Look at this.
Shit.
There's no way that any of these still exist. There's no way, because this is German Village. I went down to German Village with my sister maybe like a month and a half ago to kind of look at the buildings to see what was down there, and it was like everything is pretty much gone. So I'm gonna try to hit these in the future, but I just have very low confidence that any of these are still here. Especially this huge. Look at these two huge ones. Look at these two massive ones right here. Like these are supposedly structures, like huge.
Right? Like oh, fuck. There was so much here that they've just freaking annihilated.
Yeah, it's depressing. And real quick, I think it's on here.
It's inspiring too, because it's discovering all over again, and that there's still so much to rediscover and dig out from what's been buried.
The Leather Lip Monument up here, it's very mid. I don't know if there was an older one in 1895 that used to actually be good, but the one that they have now is really ugly. It's like a Sphinx. I don't know. It's stupid. You should look it up. But yeah, the only one I've looked at up here so far. I'm gonna go to these right south of this Leatherless one. I'm gonna go here the other day. I don't know. It's weird. I'm gonna go here maybe in the next few days and check these ones out. But this one, by Hate and Run, I've confirmed this one is completely gone now. I can't find any evidence of it. But yeah, good times.
That's epic, man. That's cool. Now I need to go find me a map of Drumheller from that time period and see if they actually documented all the mounds and pyramids that are still there today in everybody's backyards as mounds and pyramids.
Do you think they would have that? I'm shocked that my friend Elkman's the one who showed me this book originally. Excuse me. But I couldn't find a copy of it until I started looking into the Shrum Mound a little bit more, and then it came up, and I was like, thank God, because he was supposed to send me one, but he said he couldn't find the online version anymore either.
Right? Like when the online stuff's getting expunged, it's man, it sucks. But that's why we find it when we can.
Is that monument? If you want to see the monument real quick, it's pretty ugly. it's like George Washington or something. I don't know. It's so strange.
That is strange as fuck.
So that's definitely not the one from 1895. This is very recent. No. So I don't know what the 1895 one looked like. I think it's maybe this one here, the tombstone. But yeah, this is the updated version. It's like a weird Sphinx ripoff mixed with a founding father or something. I don't know. It's pretty ugly.
We're
Not a
gonna
fan.
make this demon thingy-ish thing to scare the children.
Yeah, strange. But yeah, that's all I got.
That's funny. Oh, he'll be back. We lost him, but I think he will be rejoining. I often hit the wrong button. If not, that was epic. Either way. Which one was I going to share next? Yes, this one.
Everybody, video here for you today. Thought we'd go back to ancient America. I wasn't really planning on doing one of those places that is just kind of lost and lonely and just sitting out there. But here you can see the mounds at the site. This was a pretty impressive ancient city, as I said, around the same time as Cahokia. But there is no park here, no way to really visit the mounds except park on this road out here and overlook them from a distance. And that's kind of sad. Some of the cities in the area, there's a metropolis, really. Brookport, High Point, Paducah, Farley, Ledbetter. Those are a few of the cities in this general area here. I'm wondering if any of my subs have ever been to this site. It appears to be fairly lonely and quiet. This is about 140 miles east of Cahokia. And obviously, when the Google Earth imagery was taken, there was a lot of flooding going down in this area. And maybe some of you who live in the area can tell me if this is an annual event, all this flooding out here. These mounds were excavated about 1934. And even on this mound today on Google Earth, you can even tell where the excavations took place. You can see how that
road
mound
is completely covered.
carved into right there. But makes you wonder if they had flooding back then and how often it happened. But these mounds have obviously withstood many, many floods, and they still stand out there today, and just gives credit to the people who built them. These aren't just mounds of dirt, clay, gravel, other things. They were painted in some cases. Sometimes they had stairways, but when this is all, the better we can treat them. You wonder why the apathy towards ancient American history. But that's why I make these videos, just let people know that there's places out there that exist. But this is the look from overhead at this ancient city. Maybe 1,000 years old, maybe started a little earlier than that. But here is a diagram of what this place used to look like. Places where people lived, a big wall all the way around it, as many as 9 mounds, and some of them pretty darn large. And even people who are curious about these ancient America sites, is this one place where people would actually stop? That's another reason why I make these videos, just so people have an idea of what they look like, and maybe they would stop at these. But would people tour these if this was an open park? We can certainly let our mind wander what this place used to look like and what the people were doing who occupied this site. Here is another artist rendition of what this place might have looked like. Now, I was looking for any news stories on the Kincaid Mounds, and I found this one from Heritage Daily. This came out a little earlier this year. The Kincaid Mounds, the Mound Metropolis of Illinois. It says the Kincaid Mounds is an ancient tribal center of the Mississippian culture that built a large settlement comprising of raised mounds in the present-day state of Illinois near the banks of the Ohio River. The Mississippian culture was a Native American civilization that emerged around 800 AD in the Midwestern, Eastern, and Southeastern regions of America. The civilization was composed of a series of urban settlements linked together by loose trading networks, with the most notable site being the city of Cahokia. So this place seemed to be linked to Cahokia through trade and other things. It says the area around the Kincaid's Mounds was first occupied during the Archaic period between 8000 to 2000 BC, where the region was probably inhabited by cultures of the early woodland. The founding of the Kincaid's Mound is determined to be about 800 AD, although some sources suggest around 1050 AD. But here are some pics on the ground at the Kincaid Mounds. what they look like on the ground. Not much to be seen, just grass-covered mounds. Certainly looked entirely a lot different in antiquity. It says Kincaid likely served as a trade link between native settlements in the Cumberland, Tennessee river valleys and the metropolis of Cahokia, in which influences of the Cahokian culture is evident in the Kincaid shell-tempered ceramics. Just reading a little more, it seems a few more mounds have been discovered here since I did the video 3 years ago, and they said 9 or 10 mounds existed. But just reading, it says the society revolved around a complex chiefdom structure led by a male chief and his family who exerted civil control over the community, and priests who had religious authority, probably some shaman-type figures. The major construction phase took place in what is known as the Kincaid Middle Component, and that is called the Classic Mississippian Period, in which 19 mound monuments were constructed, with 11 being identified as substructure platform mounds, in addition to a large plaza situated near the nucleus of the settlement. The entire site was surrounded by a large palisade wall of upright logs or posts, with a series of guardhouses or bastions at the intervals of about 100 feet. The palisade may have served as a defensive purpose, but it has also been suggested that it functioned to mark the boundary of the ceremonial site and the seat of the chiefdom's authority. But that is the way it looks from overhead today. Maybe remnants of that wall right there. This is the way artists think it looked a long time ago. Now, I will leave a few links below, but here is the visiting area at the mound site today, where you can go and overlook these from a distance. There is another look at the mounds, but just finishing this one article, it says the Mississippian culture occupation at the site appears to have ended by 1400 to 1450, possibly due to the exhaustion of local resources such as timber and game, a period which archaeologists call the vacant quarter. There's other possibilities, I guess, maybe disease being introduced into the area is one other possibility, but by about 500 years ago, these people seem to be gone. Now, here is one story, and I read a few like this. Prehistoric mound, disturbed, possibly looted. But if you don't have a park, you don't have security here, obviously we're going to have some problems like this. Can't we treat our ancient America history just a little bit better? That's all I'm asking. That is a quickie on the Kincaid Mounds here in southern Illinois, center of ancient chiefdom. This seemed to be a very important place about 1,000 years ago in ancient America. Probably these people were trading with Cahokia and also places to the east. Ancient America was one big trade network based on the riverways. You have stuff in Florida from the Great Lakes region. You have stuff at mound sites in Indiana and Illinois from Wyoming. I mean, it's really remarkable how the goods were traded all over ancient America 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. It's a pretty amazing story, and I'm still looking into it. Thought I would talk about that one today. I don't think I made a video on ancient America in about 3 weeks. Some of these sites I realize are very important after all the videos I've made on this subject. Well, as I said with NEXT in our interview Friday night, some of these places in ancient America, and really ancient America itself, is kind of neglected as far as the importance in ancient history, but we have these pyramid mounds all over ancient America. Some of these sites are just kind of sitting out there lonely, just trying to make it, not quite so. Hope you thought that was cool, and you all have a very nice day. Everybody, video here for you today. This is my second video of the day. This is a place a little north of Baalbek. I found this about 4 days.
Some the mounds you were showing there kind of reminded me of this destroyed mound in Columbus. It looked a lot like the shape of it. It was weird. I don't know how far they say the Mississippian culture goes. I'll show it real quick if you.
Yeah, absolutely.
This one's apparently no longer here.
They've destroyed so many, and it's like at that time period when they were first supposedly quote unquote settling / genociding and had so very little resources, why would they put so much of those resources into like destroying of the original mega terraforming on the largest destructive amounts that they could, removing it as possible?
Most examples I found have just been so they can build housing developments and stuff. Oh, am I frozen? I think I am. But yeah, this This mound here, south side of Dublin Road, south of Upper Arlington. So that quarry that we were looking at earlier, it mentions it in this thing actually. Marble Cliff Quarry. That's the name of that entire organization that was hosting all the stuff we were looking at earlier, basically. So let's see here. I'll show you real quick where this one was on the map. If I'm still even on here, I'm not sure because my computer is acting strange.
Right. I also have that happen from time to time. Take on a glitch mind of their own.
So the mound that we were just looking at that's destroyed is either this mound here or this mound here. And this, regardless, the other mound that's not in this picture is documented as being massive, and there's some newspaper articles that talk about it. This is Grandview, Ohio, right here. You can look up newspaper articles talking about how they destroyed a mound in Marble Cliff, which is like a suburb of Grandview, because Grandview is a suburb of Columbus. So the one we were just looking at is one of these two red triangles, and the other one, there's newspaper articles about it, and they show how massive it was, and it was being destroyed. But it just reminded me of the ones that were in the Kincaid mounds, the shape of them,
Yeah,
the flat top, the bit, kind of
some round, some square, some rectangle.
This one looks like a
conglomerate.
a bench on the top of it, or is it, what is that, like a antenna?
Right, I was just thinking, is that electroculture antenna maybe up there?
Can't tell.
Possibly.
Looks like it's some kind. Maybe it's behind it. It could be a flagpole. Who knows? There's like a bench or something right here.
Look to the top of it. It looks like it's like got radials of metal out, like more like an antenna bulb top, I think.
Yeah, there's like a ball at the top of it, but the bottom of it does look like it's on top of the mound because you have that
right
bench type thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pretty big though. All right, well, yeah, I think I'm gonna hop off here so I can eat some food.
Yeah, for sure, brother.
Rest.
It is almost 11 p.m. here, so that is almost 1 a.m. there. And thank you, my friend, for joining in. That was some epic stuff, and good to see that you're actually not just boots on the ground, but like actively restoring the natural history and of the indigenous people and just everything of your own community and stuff that, you know, you walked on your entire life. Then, you know, you get the new eyes of it and the inspiration to go out and look at it, and what we're all doing, and we're finding it absolutely everywhere.
Appreciate you. Appreciate your role in inspiring that too. And thanks for having me on.
Awesome. You too. And Wednesday, right? We'll have you, myself, Luke, and also Lucius Ausius, I think is the channel name. He's also in the Midwest, does the Tartarian stuff, but also a lot on the mounds and doing exactly what you're doing here. So,
oh, nice,
another good channel. So
yeah, I have the Nashville video I've been putting together with like talking about the World's Fair and some buildings involved with that. So I don't know if we're talking about Tartaria or what. Maybe we could go over some of that. If not, we could do something on my channel
for sure, right? And like there's the Parthenon in Nashville, right?
Yeah, the Parthenon, and then basically just how the narrative doesn't make sense because they talk about how that's the only remains of the World's Fair. But while I was there, I documented at least 4 different sites that are remains of the World Fair, and they claim that one building, believe it or not, was moved from the World's Fair over to a different county via horse and buggy and still stands to this day.
Like
it's just really strange. They actually say in the article that it was transported on horse and buggy. I want to
like be skeptical of the World's Fairs ones where it's like I've been on like the fence, like some like yes, no, like I don't know, and like they're just there keeps coming out more and more oddities that it just doesn't make sense. And
I had this really weird thought the other day because there's this artist who basically they say he was just, you know, making it up as like a fake city and stuff, but he was like a famous artist in America, apparently painting sceneries that looked like these World's Fairs, but they relate it to the fall of the Roman Empire is like an allegory or something, but it looks so much like the World's Fairest photos that you see with the gold domes on the white buildings and stuff like that. And when I saw when the guy was describing it, it was a channel called Told in Stone. He wasn't talking about World's Fairs or anything like that. He was just talking about the artist. And when I was seeing it, I was thinking to myself, like, is this guy depicting what possibly happened to these World's Fairest cities? Because we have these unbelievable waterways, these unbelievable buildings, everything just built in this manner. And if there was a civilization, it's clear that they did fall. So is he actually describing this? I don't know.
Oh my
Very
God,
weird stuff.
I gotta take a look at these now. Like, you're probably bang on with that. It's, and like you said, the canals, the waterways, like it's insane the amount of actual plumbing and aquiferness and, like, again, macro terraforming and leveling and pressurizing, and that it's like, oh yeah, it was all of that and then paper mache buildings. Like, no, you don't, like, anyway.
Well, that was the weirdest thing about being in the Parthenon, which I'll bring up when we talk about it in the future in more detail. But if you go inside of the actual building, they have to the best of my knowledge, what were the original statues that were on the outside of the building. And those statues are made of like marble, or at least a much higher material than what they are made of now. But what they're made of now is like a mixture of like seashells and rocks and like this weird, almost like
shitty cement, almost.
But it's like a cement you never see.
Geopolymer.
Yeah, it's like a cement you never see. Like, it's like a pool. It's like something you'd see in like a pool or something, or like, it's so cheap. Like it's so weird looking. It's like a tan color. It's something's really off about it, but I don't know, man.
The originals were baller, freaking granite and better. Like, no doubt.
It was really strange. And then I discovered that underground tunnel as well that was like going into the bottom of the Parthenon, which was locked off. So yeah, I just sent you a link to that video. It's like, I think at that maybe the halfway point where he brings up the paintings. So he's not talking about anything we're talking about. He was just showing these paintings, and I'm just sitting here thinking, because I'm an idiot, and I'm just thinking, like, is this
no, like, that's how some of the best discoveries get made, is like when some random person finds evidence, and like, even though they're like presenting it with the narrative official story with it, that's probably the BS, but then like now you see it and it's like, oh my God, that
this guy does not believe in alternative history.
What was this, the official inscriber of the genocide of the original Roman or whatever was the World's Fairest civilization, if there was one, right? Like,
here, I'm just going to show a couple screenshots from this before we get off, since we're already talking about it, and maybe it's 100%. Like a cliffhanger. I don't know. Whatever. We're already here. Why not? If it even loads. So this guy does not believe in alternative history at all. He's a straight up mainstream historian. But so everything in this video is just him describing what he believes. So I forget what the name of this painter is that he's describing here, but these paintings and what he was talking about just made me think that there's that there's something more to this World's Fair situation. With he was saying that this is a
lots of the aquifers destroyed in South America too, in Mexico, that are like just as advanced, if not more, as the Roman ones that they claim were built by the Jesuit, destructive, murderous, genociding Spanish Inquisition. Yet, look at this. And shout out to Ben, Analog Waken, or the archivist, and some of what he's shown, the old newspaper reports, stories, and then going in with the Google Earth and like pretty much finding the ruins of these Alaskan islands, but that they were originally reported as these Greek Roman settlements all the way up in like Alaska and stuff like that, and that they also look like these man-made islands and all sorts. It's
I haven't seen that. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's well, I'll have to find that one, go over that one the next one.
Yeah, send me on Instagram or something too. Yeah, just look at these buildings. This looks exactly like the type of stuff we saw at the World's Fairs. Like, there's almost no difference. The statues, everything about it, the detail, like, because these are the kind of details. If you look at videos of the World's Fairs, or if you look at kind of the more obscure photos that you have to actually search for on like Library of Congress or something, when you look at the statues and stuff like that, this is how detailed it was. This is what it looked like. You had these pathways, you had these bridges, you had all of this. Like, I know this is just allegedly an artist rendition, but this guy was painting the fall of a civilization. We have ruins in random places in America that look like this, that they say people were rich and they just built them because they wanted to show off, right? I forget remember the locations of them, but there's at least 3 examples of Roman ruins being in America that people just allegedly built just to show off their wealth because it was popular at the time, right?
Right. They're building the ruins, right? Roman
Exactly.
ruins. Like, no, we're not going to build Roman style new buildings. No, we're going to build like it's. No one was going to do that at that point in time. Like, it's just so freaking stupid.
And you have these Phoenician style ships, like Viking style ships over here invading whatever this was. I don't know. When I saw these, I know it's stupid, but when I saw these and the way the guy was describing what he was talking about was unrelated, but it just made me have those thoughts. Thought it was worth sharing. Yeah, here's an example of those ruins in America, I think. So this is in Virginia. So someone built these ruins in their yard in Virginia, right? just because apparently, just because they're rich and they wanted to show off, and they happen to grow these trees over them as well, and they happen to grow them on this bridge too. So please make that make sense, somebody. But yeah, enough babbling. Appreciate you having me on. Hope everyone in the chat has a good night. And
okay, here's the icing on the cake. The icing on the cake is that in England as well, and the UK, where there's actual buried some Roman ruins, like officially, there's also these supposed rebuilding of ruined ancient Roman ruins, and even where they claim that they shipped them all the way from Egypt and all sorts of, like, it's just so freaking insane and stupid.
The story of sorry, go ahead.
They claim that they could take piece by piece and move and rebuild perfectly the different World's Fair buildings, which are essentially the same sort of style of architecture, but they couldn't rebuild working or full intact Roman architecture buildings, only the ruins of them. That's how, like, it doesn't make sense.
Dude, the craziest thing is the transferring of that obelisk to the Vatican City, which originally it wasn't the Vatican City, obviously. It was for Caligula's hippodrome or whatever. I can't remember the name of it. But basically, them putting that giant obelisk onto a ship back in those times, then transferring it from Egypt to Rome, and then using whatever technology they have to hoist it up. And then after that, moving it from that location within Rome to the middle of Vatican City as they're building St. Peter's Basilica. It's just everything about that story is unbelievable. So these people, they say they're not advanced, they're not civilized, but they're able to do these amazing things. And another thing about the Romans is they had heated floors. Are you kidding me? All right, but yeah,
and then but couldn't have, and okay, so heated floors, fountains and everything, and no bathrooms. Like,
yeah. So ridiculous. Doc, I actually have a ton of footage of that Parthenon in Nashville. We're probably, if we're not going over it on Wednesday on Bernie's channel, I'll have Bernie on my channel sometime this week and we'll go over it. But yeah, I have a lot of footage of it and a lot of information about it. I'm trying to make it into an actual video, but I'm just really bad at doing that. But all right, have a good night, man. Appreciate you, and the chat. Have a good night.
Love. Thank you for joining in, and I need to get onto my other computer to actually do anything.
We'll see you next time.
Much love, Shem. Thank you. We'll see you Wednesday. That was epic, and that is awesome to see everywhere that Shem is going and documenting and doing the boots on the ground, like actually exposing the ridiculousness of the hidden and suppressed histories, and that there were several. What the evidence is now showing is that there was always worldwide civilization and settlement and mixed multiculturalism of the same roots peoples and whatnot, and that there's just been several cataclysms over and over again, and we forget how old we are and how many times we've done through it, and that there's probably temporary stoppages of the world travel and trade directly after each event of destruction and cataclysmic wipeout. And then that's when you have the legends of the times before, the floods, the lost peoples, and which is now also being documented and showing in the genetic haplogroups, as well as in the different languages, especially now all these surfacing tablets throughout the golden tablets, as well as the copper scrolls everywhere, and the stone tablets that contain the Sumerian, Proto-Sumerians, the Proto-Greek, the runics, as well as pictographic symbol languages, and sometimes the alchemy and Egyptian, depending on, but always a mixture of 3 or 4 different ones within them. Essentially, these, oh my goodness, whatever the famous one in Egypt that was discovered that had Old Egyptian, New Egyptian, and Latin, I believe. Was it? Anywho, linguistics, extremely fascinating subject, and that their official stories of it all makes 0 sense. That's why things are so confusing, is because it is all lies that have been manipulated and written and imposed by the Rosetta Stone. Yes, thank you, Renee Hutchins. Correct. That is definitely the one I'm was referring to, and that in fact there's been several examples of and what have been dubbed new Rosetta Stones, especially throughout the Americas, and Scott Wolter's work, especially who's done the American Unearthed series, I believe, on the History Network or Discovery, whatever that is. But he also just does the boots on the ground research, the linguistics, and investigating all of these lost and being now rediscovered tablets across the Americas, and verifying the languages and logistics and translations, and proving that they're unequivocally accurate and impossible to be forgeries and frauds and everything of the sorts. All right, those were the main languages. Right, absolutely, Michael. Okay, why does my browsers and computers and connections always crash at crucial time? Nice, Logan Rothroth. We're about sorry to do the. I should encourage everybody to go out and do some hiking in your local megalithic areas and mounds, earthworks, whatever is hiding below the surface or in plain sight, just needs you to hike through it and discover it. Encourage everybody to do exactly that. All right, there's the main one opening back up. go. Oh, we're okay. Here we go. Back in control. No longer a guest in my own show with no control. I've got the reins back. And on to, oh, we're exactly 3 hours in. How are we doing? We got 50 people watching. It is 11 o'clock. All right. In the meantime, we'll play one last Chuck video. Why can I never remember the channel name? Why is it never listed properly on? All right. Oops.
With Christopher Dunn.
Okay, paused it there for a second. R.I.P. Chuck, as always, but his lifelong, his life's works, excellent 2,100 videos in all of the alternative history that he has done. CF-APPS 7865, CF Apps 7865, the channel, and Annex T, where I've been following Annex T for over a decade now with his original project and works of Adept Initiates and everything, the libraries of Manly P. Hall. Now he went from there over into, he's in Egypt and Cairo right now doing tours on the Giza Plateau. And I've been talking to him, and we'll be having Annex T on for an interview in the next month or so of everything, both into the occult as well as into what he's doing these days in, right? Tranquil Vortex, the rock wall in your place. I know, right? It looked megalithic geopolymer, potentially. Now, back to Annex T and Chuck. The videos that we're playing today are some of the most recent, some of the very last that Chuck was able to do before he passed, but just absolutely epic work. And it's a pleasure to always give tribute to tribute that's due, and you know, keep his work alive, because just excellent stuff.
Coming up, and also doing an Ancient America tour, so it was great chatting with him last night, getting to know him. We talked about all sorts of stuff, but today's video, we are going to go down to a little north of Baalbek, and as I said in my last video, I'm being a little more pickier with stuff I talk about. Stuff really has to interest me. After 2,000 videos, your desire to make a video isn't as strong as it once was. But then you find a place like this and your interest gets recharged all over again. This is called the Hermel Pyramid, even though it really isn't a pyramid. It's more of a tower with a pyramid on top. And it's right down here. You can't see it very well on Google Earth, but here is what they call the Hermel Pyramid. Other websites call this a funerary monument. But who are they honoring here? Well, to me, it's pretty clear where this comes from. Let's just go down to Street View here and take a look. But this tower, or funerary monument, or pyramid as it is called, the Hermel Pyramid, this comes from the people who were in ancient Emesa, ancient Homs, in the 1st century, and they were the ones who were worshiping at Baalbek right before the Romans built there. This is a very important time in history. And it's
the top of a giant cathedral spire.
I will leave a few links below, but there are a few reasons why I wanted to talk about this today. One, because it directly connects in with research I have done for a long time. My longtime subs know that I researched the Shroud of Turin just because nobody has given us a good answer what that relic is all about. And the history is totally lost, in my opinion. And it's very important to the origin of certain religious stories. But this is the monument here. The second reason I wanted to talk about it is because this place is threatened. In 2007, they put this little fence up here, and they tried to do a little reconstruction. There was also reconstruction done in 1931 because this monument was pretty much in ruins. But there you get a good look at it. But I was just stunned when I first saw this because I was very familiar with this structure. This is the mausoleum coming from ancient Emesa, ancient Homs. The very
Okay, so I have to pause that there just to give some extra little bits of my own insights, context here. First off, noticing in the background there what looks like a big pyramid, kind of ironic, possibly. So he was saying Homs, so that's Homs, Syria, as well as... Where was it? No, not Aleppo. I think did he say Aleppo? Anywho, it's right on. It's closer to the border with Turkey, essentially, but well, actually, no, kind of in between, I guess, the border with Lebanon and Turkey. So the region connecting Baalbek and Lebanon that runs through Turkey or Syria, being, I guess, the Damascus part, and then up through the Homs towards Aleppo, and then right there on the border with Turkey. And in that area of Turkey, you have both Göbekli Tepe, and something or other tepe that's even older than Göbekli Tepe now. And it's like those are like 60 or 70 different buried hills that are each like an individual one of the Göbekli Tepe circle thingy struck. And anywho, it's so massive. And then also in that area you have the Daring Kuyu, is that it's all the massive mega underground city ones, not to mention it's Anatolia, is that there? That's one of the regions. I think that's the right region. Also, what looked like so there's the underground city ones. There's also the what looked like melted mountain or melted apartment building foothills everywhere, and fairy chimney structures amongst them all. Classic Badlands in yes, thanks, Let's Bright, you got it. Guzepete Tepe, Guziti Tepe, that is the one. And so it's like you got that cluster of those super ancient, the underground cluster ones, all the ones that are into the building stuff. And so there's like the ones that look like melted apartments. There's the ones that like actually have caved houses into all of the hills and houses or mountains and everything else in there. And then the ones that look similar, are they called Etruscan what else are they? Also like the same stuff that looks like Jordan and Petra, Saudi Arabia, all of that stuff. It's all in there. To top everything I just listed off, as if that's not a whole 3 different insane out of place architecture, impossible to build scenarios for even today, but especially what we claim to be cavemen and hunter-gatherers. It's just absolutely insane. There's also one region of destroyed super brick cathedral, what would be classified in today's research community as these Tartarian brick style cathedral buildings, and that they are half blown apart and then half standing, and it's like they're like 10 to 15 foot walls of brick that they're like what they're made out of, and then they're insane. But it's that they're dated to at least 1080, I think a lot of times 500, and even more so. I think even some of them they officially go over 2,000 years. I could even be getting that wrong, and they could officially be dated to 3,500. Anyways, they're actually officially dated to super old, yet they're these identical things. And what we're looking at right here is also one of those, what I am claiming. They say it's an independent of its own, just a monument to the Cloud of Turn. I'm proposing it could potentially just be the very spire top of what could be a giant buried cathedral building right below it, still beneath. And just like only, I think, 100 to 200 kilometers from where this is in Homs, Syria, going north to Turkey in that region is where all of the same destroyed super brick, what they admit to be Orthodox Christian cathedral, they're able to get away with it by saying that that was the Georgian Orthodox, right? So Christian, whatever. It's so insane. Anyways, it's like the half blown up ones that are left in Turkey. The building construction is of such epic high quality that they've lasted for thousands of years after something catastrophic had destroyed them. And it's like, can't even build close to that today. And then everything in between, nothing comes close. It's all
Great people who were worshiping the Baalbek in the first century, right before the Romans got there. And these two structures appear very, very similar to me. I will leave a few links below. Here is one article, Kamu El Hermel, Lebanon. Goes over the history here. Here is another website. The Hermel Pyramid, Bekaa Valley, Lebanon. And this is in the Bekaa Valley, same valley as Baalbek. Here is a look at this place. It says, located at the northern end of the Bekaa Valley in the middle of nowhere, this lonely pyramid rises almost 100 feet above a small hill on which it was built. It can be seen for miles around, but no one is sure what this unusual monument is intended to be or why it is alone. It resembles some of the tower tombs at Palmyra to the east, and some believe it is the tomb of a prince dating from the 1st or 2nd century BC, and I actually think this comes from the 1st century AD.
Oh, yeah, see,
little is known about it because not many people have studied this kingdom in the Mesa, ancient Homs, and very little is known about it because the Romans basically buried this history. Here is one old pic coming from about 90 years ago. The inscriptions on this structure have been pretty much lost. Let's just do a little bit of reading here. Here is another look at the facade. It says, unfortunately, the inscriptions are no longer there, so the pyramid may always remain a mystery. Well, not so much to me. I pretty much know where this comes from. They say it might come from a Syrian prince. Actually, he was a priest, a sun king, an ancient Baalbek. Here's a drawing of this ancient structure coming from about 90 years ago, but it just smacked me in the face how similar this was to the ancient mausoleum, even these pillars built into it here. The ancient mausoleum in ancient Homs, ancient Emesa, this kingdom that's been kind of lost to history. This place is about 50 kilometers north of Baalbek and exactly 50 kilometers south of ancient Homs, ancient Emesa. Seems to be a pretty symbolic place to put a very important funerary structure. Now, I thought somebody else would for sure make this connection. Here is just one website I found that made this connection. Here is an 1851 painting. I guess that's the date that this painting was done of the Hermel Pyramid, as it is called. It says, 135-kilometer drive away from Beirut and 50 kilometers from Baalbek stands magnificently the underrated 2,200-year-old Pyramid of Hermel. And if this is a big mystery and they don't know who built it, I don't see how they can put a date on it. maybe just trying to throw you off of the real history of where this came from. It says it has been suggested to date back to the 2nd century BC, but I think this is a little under 2,000 years old. Here he is driving up to this ancient structure with the pyramid on top out in the middle of nowhere. And just going down here, he makes a comparison between the Camus El Hermel pyramid and the ancient mausoleum in ancient Emesa, ancient Homs. And they seem to be very similar, so probably built by the very same people. It says locals claim that it gave its name to Hermel town, as it is tribute to the ancient Aramaic root Haramel, which translates to the pyramid of God. Just doing a little reading here, it says, while doing some research, I found a remarkable similarity between Camus of Hermel and the mausoleum of Emesa, a monument that formerly stood in the necropolis of Tel Abu Saboun, modern-day Homs, Syria. The remains of that monument were blown up with dynamite in 1911 in order to make way for an oil depot. The two monuments are only 60 kilometers apart, and I think that's a little much there. I think it's a little under that.
Oh,
But
we
just
have
going
to
on
blow
here. Here's
apart
a look
this,
at this place.
middle of a desert, but to make
There
room
was
for
some
a oil
animal
pipeline
inscriptions
that,
on the
could
front, and they
easily
really don't
just
know what they all mean.
move by
It
10
says,
feet.
after being
We gotta blow
partially
this thing
damaged by
apart.
treasure hunters and
2,500,
earthquakes,
4,500.
the monument was restored in 1931 under the French mandate, leaving a difference in hue between the original stones and those added during restorations. Says the Lebanese government issued 2 series of stamps honoring Camus El Hermel, the first in 1948 and the second during the excavation work in 1974. So I guess this thing has been restored a few different times. It says, despite being clearly visible from afar, the monument has been heavily vandalized by locals, covering all 4 faces of the base in graffiti. In 2007, after several requests, the Ministry of Culture cleaned its base and built a fence to protect it. Unfortunately, it did not take long before it was full of graffiti all over again, as no serious measures have been taken to preserve it. So that is one reason why I'm talking about this place. Who knows how much longer this place will be in the condition it is. Now here's an article I found just in the last week. This is about the best article I've ever found on the Klein Kings of Emesa, a study of local identities in the Roman East. And this all was happening in the very eastern part of the Roman Empire. A perceived miracle was making the rounds in religious texts. So the Romans came in here, built at Baalbek, and kind of eliminated this story and kind of wrote their own history of this guy in this place. It's a very complicated thing to talk about, and I can't make one video going over all this. It's just beyond me. This is about lost history and texts that were rewritten in later years, but a very important story that became a worldwide sensation. Here are artifacts coming from this kingdom in Emesa, some mass, other things. Here are some coin-type things, other artifacts that were found in the necropolis at ancient Homs. This is pretty interesting to me when I first got this for the next couple hours. But one thing about this kingdom at Emesa, what did the royals wear in their worship services? They wore purple tunics, purple robes. Here are some more artifacts coming from the kingdom of Emesa that was thriving in the 1st century and then was ended around 73 AD. I found it very interesting that they wore purple tunics, purple robes. That is a direct connection to the New Testament story. But I will leave this link below if you want to read. They make the connection between Emesa and Baalbek very well in what they were worshiping, and also the way certain things at Baalbek were constructed. But it goes over many things. An inscription, one inscription that was found at this pyramid in Hermel. And just going down here, they have a diagram of the mausoleum here in Emesa. Here it is right here. This is identical to the Hermel pyramid structure, I believe. But there was one inscription here that called this the Mountain of God, and very similar inscriptions were found at Sogmatar from the Abgar dynasty, the very one who received the Holy Linen and the apocryphal texts and other stories. And Eusebius, in about 325, puts out a ridiculous story on this linen with the image on it. And then the church does the bogus investigation of the dating, the C14 dating. About 40 years ago, this story has been buried, the true history of the Shroud of Turin. I'll be talking a lot more on it. For new subs, I started investigating the Shroud of Turin maybe about 6 years ago when I was doing a story on the Knights Templar. Originally, I thought this for sure was a medieval hoax. A lot of people think Da Vinci did this, but this came into public notoriety. It was shown about 5 decades before Da Vinci was even born. And I know Scott Walter told me that he thinks Da Vinci is the one who did the Shroud of Turin. The leading expert in ancient America on the Holy Grail has no clue about the history of this artifact. But the more I investigated, I realized there was a whole lost history that was buried about this object for certain reasons. And I believe I got to the bottom of it. And really, I had to rethink a lot of things I believed in while looking into this, but I think I got to the bottom of the story. But I remember when I first came to the realization that this was an actual 2,000-year-old artifact and the similarities to the New Testament story, I just had all sorts of trouble accepting that, and it really took me years to accept it. And I tried to debunk what I believe because it's a lot easier to debunk something than prove something. And this is something I still have trouble with, accepting the story of this thing and where it actually comes from and how important it is. But I believe I have the whole story wrapped up. That is a video on the Hermel Pyramid built by the people who were worshiping at Baalbek. This is a very important place. As far as later history being wrote, where it came from, part of the greatest story never told, I will be speaking much more on the Shroud of Turin, but I believe that the person on the shroud came from these people in Emesa, ancient Homs. Leader was crucified here at the end of the Jewish revolt. A perceived miracle happened, and it changed the course of history. Hope you thought that was interesting.
All right, so we each have our own personal beliefs and the evidences or whatever that we find that lead us in our own ways. I personally believe that that is not a pyramid and was more likely connected to what we dub Tartarian brick style cathedrals, but the ones in the Anatolian region that are half destroyed, what I think that would be. Okay, what we also have for those that haven't seen this yet, we have undeniable perpetual motion machine. Anybody can 3D print it off and then just order the magnets, add the magnets and the steel ball, and you've got kind of annoying to keep it running. That's why you don't really see the channels that have built the perpetual motion machines, because like a lot of them, when they first built them, they let them run for a day, weeks, months. Some of them were like a year, but like when you run it for that long, it doesn't get backed up or saved. And secondly, you don't run it forever because eventually that sound just drives you nuts of the like or what. That's how I feel. What I see. Smart self-running over Unity magnet toy. Smart device. Self-running over magnetic over Unity device. That's toy. Okay, come on. SMOT. Self-running magnetic over Unity toy. But so I know that you know, that was probably a free YouTube music song that he is playing in this video, but sometimes by playing the full soundtrack of these videos with the music included, we'll get the actual video itself copyright striked if it is, even though it's not the music that's copyrighted. Anywho, I'm rambling. There you go. It's going forever. It does keep going forever. You can put two of them in there. There we go. Yeah. And you can also, I believe, yeah, sorry, here, there we go. So it is in Russian, but here you go. Physics toys at yandex.ru. I should probably send old Igor an email while that is on screen. And yes, it is Physics Toys. So it is Igor that he's got, I believe, 7 or 8 different overbalanced, over magnet, fine, and then also the like, so gravity wheel overbalanced. What's the other? We got the magnet aspects, the rotation, 3 rotations. What am I? Gyroscopic aspect of these devices that somehow get it working. So it's a gyroscopic pendulums with. I'm probably making no sense. Point being, I have seen Igor over the years, his Russian channel, where he's built and has up for sale. And I think you can also get the 3D printer blueprints from him to run them off yourselves. I think there's a lot of them are open source, but he also sells them that he builds, makes himself, and sells fully functioning ones for those that don't have 3D printers or the time to do it. Point being, he's done several successful and has a store of several of these over Unity physics toys available, but you're ordering out of Russia, and that's why they're trying to build a whole new Cold War and have a hot war on the border, because, well, they don't want us knowing these things. At Yandex, before I forget. And it's like, I don't even think I should send this email until afterwards, when I can have a VPN going on when you're trying to make contact with the other side of the digital metaverse iron freaking. I almost want to say dome because of the Israeli missiles, but no, it's the Iron Curtain. All right, wrote a basic little basic email to Igor. Haven't sent it, but I've got it, so I can. This guy does epic stuff. Let's see his actual channel. Here we go. Here's the actual video playing in the live chat now for anybody, and Igor's channel himself. And then it crashes. I knew it was coming. I sensed it, and then it happened. Indeed. Okay. Is it still frozen with me? I don't even know. Let me know if you can hear me. Oh, and I'm back on the freaking guest one, so I don't even have control of it. So finally realized I crashed. All right. See, this is why a true professional streamer has several computers running at once. So when they attack, good to go. But it looks like I've got the other loaded again, so back to BurnEye you go. He's back again. Here I come once again. All right, see, omnipresent. They can try to take me down, but I'm still here. Told in stone, right? Yeah, a lot of. I see what Shem was saying, especially that channel. I've seen him before, but he's got the paintings. What am I mumbling about? Oh, I just had a crazy deja vu. That was something else. Been a while since I had a deja vu like that. This is what I was mumbling and rumbling about, and that the channel being told in stone, and that the channel himself is completely like, I almost wonder if it's like what you would label as a fact finder or fact checker, whatever the heck, like almost a trollish to the point that they stick to the narrative in their work. But that's why we're gonna play this little bit on silent and highlight these paintings that are claimed to be fictional. Oh, this is actually the real picture of the runes Virginia Water that they claim were rebuilt frauds of runes as opposed to leftover. Like, oh my god, it's so freaking stupid. And I gotta shout out to John Levi, who was the first that I had ever seen of that a couple years or several years ago now, that he brought light to it. Yeah, like, look at this. Like, this could that could be Alaska. This could be the island that freaking, oh my god, I gotta show this one to Ben. Ben Analog, the archivist, at 439 in. This, I swear to god, this looks like, is it the Aleutian Islands up there in the Bering Straits going through? But yeah, wow, does that ever look like that? Oh man, crazy. Oh, deja vus are awesome. They are. I do indeed. Hello from US. Welcome, Johnny Bones. Welcome everybody that is here and joined in so far today. It's been a pretty excellent stream all in all. And where the there we go. Just trying to get in. Oh, Johnny Bones, returning subscriber and commenter. All right, anybody who does not have a blue wrench, if you're in the live chats, now would be the time to comment so I can see your comments and then give you a blue wrench, because on my channels, everybody deserves a blue wrench, because nobody should have to fear being deleted by anybody else. No, everybody should be able to post their own links, and everybody should be able to click on all you other commenters that they're chatting with and be able to then access each other's channels and subscribe to each other, because all of you do such excellent work.